my watch. Chamorro Land Trust Conference Room, 590 Submarine Corps Drive, ITC Building, Suite 223, second floor, Tamuning, Guam. Public comments may be made at CLTC admin, cltc.guam.gov. To view the meeting virtually online on the GovGuam Live YouTube or Google Meeting link, meet.gogo.com/mza-qbgm-dkr. Today's agenda, we're doing a call to order, and we'll begin with the interphrasing.
Inafrasi, Inimastakilo, Inasoku, Imastakalo, Gikorasondo, Zanimasfigu, na Inasiyahu, Ufrasin Maisazu, Parabaku Protehi, Zanhu Defendi, Ikirengi, Ikutura, Ilewahi, Iari, Anam, Zankanam Samora. Nidiran Shaku, Diran Shuk, Diran Zuos Tata, Estihu Afitna, Gihilo, Ibiblia, Zanibandi Rahu, Ibandera, and Guahan.
Thank you. Okay. Call to order. Joseph Ortega Cameron, are you present? Joseph?
I'm sorry, you're not coming in clearly. I'm not hearing part of it.
I'm doing the call to order. Okay?
Speak a little louder.
Okay. Just Mr. Cameron, here is present.
Okay. Jeremy Rojas?
Present.
Earl Garrido, which is me, I'm present, and Fabrine Respicio will be running late.
Fabrine just texted me that she's running 5 minutes late.
Yeah. So we can begin the meeting because we have a quorum. All we need is 3. Okay. Guam Daily News post September 11, 2025, and was posted again on September 16, 2025. We had a Guam Public Notice website, https://notices.guam.gov. Before we do the approval of minute, I'd like to make a comment. Hapade todos Hita Gikumasyon, Sainamasi na Manayo Istina Posisyon. To start, let the Lord guide me in my chairmanship in serving Guam and the CLTC. I will strive to protect and defend the culture and the beliefs of Guam. Good afternoon, commissioners, legal counsel, staff, and members of the public. Thank you for being here today. We are at a pivotal moment for the Chamorro Land Trust Commission. We inherited a backlog that is unacceptable and unfair to the people we serve, roughly 8,000 constituents waiting for leases, many of whom have passed on or whose files now require air verification. We cannot change the past, but we can act decisively today to restore trust, deliver results, and honor our responsibilities to the people of Guam. My vision is simple and urgent. Restore timely, transparent, and lawful stewardships of our public lands so that eligible residents, farmers, and businesses can move forward with certainty. To do that, we must work as one team, board members, legal counsel, staff, and the public. CLTC is committed to clear processes, measure results, and respect for due process. Today, I propose a focused strategic plan. One, immediately triage based on date and time, the backlog to identify ready-to-approve leases, errors, state matters, legal constraints, and abandoned or duplicate files. Convene focused in-person processing sessions to clear batches of low-complexity approvals while ensuring legal pre-reviews on contested matters. 3, stand up dedicated case streams for residential, agricultural, and commercial leases, supported by focused staff and, where appropriate, temporary contract help to eliminate administrative bottlenecks. I'm assigning the following commissioners to 3 oversight committees. For the Agricultural Committee, I'm assigning Joseph Artero Cameron. For the Residential Subcommittee, Fabrine Respicio. And for the Commercial Committee, Jeremy Rojas. In addition, I am assigning collateral duties to Commissioner Cameron. Henceforth, he will take on the duties as the Commission's Public Information Officer. If other board members would like to assume additional duties, please let me know. We must strengthen transparency, publish clear instructions for constituents and heirs, open an intake and case tracking channel, and report monthly progress with key metrics. Work with the Attorney General and the legislature where statutory fixes or temporary authorities are needed to responsibly expedite processing. This is not about shortcuts. It's about clarity, discipline, and speed without sacrificing legal compliance. My commitment to you, I will provide leadership that is pragmatic and respectful of process. I ask the same commitment in return, focused in-person participation at meetings, and timely reviews of pre-circulated materials. Let us be clear-eyed and courageous. We will measure success by outcomes, fewer pending applications, timelier decisions, and a more responsive CLTC. I call on every member here to adopt this mission and to help implement the operational steps we will engage today. Thank you. I move that we adopt the above scheme to implement strategic plans and associated authority. In closing, I feel having in-person sessions will expedite the process and progress. I grant an exception to Commissioner Cameron's for medical reasons. We all agree to make CLTC more expedient in processing its mission goals. What happens in the past cannot be repeated. I feel obligated to expedite the process and achieve a quicker response. The outstanding number of pending constituents is shameful. The current management under the leadership of Joseph Cruz and the staff are dedicated to upholding the CLTC mission. I was present during my tenure to experience 2 prior acting attorney generals assigned as our legal counsel. Norman Miller has proven himself to be on point and decisive. Our present team is dynamic, so we can push the limits to achieve CLTC goals. We are at a point where our diligence is critical. The CLT meetings are renowned for being extremely long marathon sessions. I've been in this board for more than 3 years, and I understand why our meetings are lengthy. Our procedural meetings are not straight-laced. They're complex, and many times they are outside forces that will covert our progress. Some may not agree with me, but we need to cut down on statutory mission and to serve the public interest. In-person focused review sessions strengthen case management, legal pre-review, and improved constituent communications are necessary to clear legacy delays while ensuring compliance with Guam laws and due process. Recently, CLTC has installed a new supervisor. In the upcoming days and months, we will surely test his mettle as a supervisor. His biggest challenge will be to mentor and lead the CLTC group. A major part of effective supervising is the skill to listen and comprehend issues while being creative and proactive. I wish Glenn A. well as a supervisor. In doing so, I applaud the CLTC group for their high motivation and forward thinking. Thank you all. Please continue to do a good job and serve the community of Guam. Our entire existence is to serve the people of Guam regardless of political affiliation and race. This movement is one Guam moving forward. Together we can. It's what we are. Viva CLTC, Viva Tautau Guam. Thank you and si Diyos maasi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we go into the approval of minutes of July 17, 2025. Any questions from the board members?
I would like to make a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of July 17, 2025.
I'll second.
Any discussion necessary? If no discussion, we take a vote on the nomination. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Since we have, welcome, Ms. Respicio.
Thank you. My apologies for my tardiness.
Mr. Chairman, before we go into the administrative director's report, only because his term had ended, I would like to, before he can do that, I would like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Hold on, please, Mr. Cameron. Mr. Cameron, hold.
102Z. I
Hold-
make a motion to appoint Mr. Joseph B. Cruz Jr. as the acting administrative director
Hold on,
with an annual salary of $114,016. This amount is the salary he was earning during his previous acting appointment. That's my motion.
so taken, but before we go into that, we need to finish the voting process. All opposed? Since there's no opposition, it's passed, the motion is passed. Now, Mr. Cameron, you can repeat what you just said, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are moving into the administrative director's report, but he has since expired his term as acting, and I'm making a motion in accordance with subsection 75A, 102, subsection B. I make a motion to appoint Mr. Joseph B. Cruz Jr. as the acting administrative director with an annual salary of $114,016. This amount is the salary he was earning during his previous acting appointment. That is my motion, Mr. Chair.
Any discussion? There being none, let's vote on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Chairman, excuse me.
All opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition,
Can you just repeat that, like the amount and everything? I didn't catch the amount.
Commissioner Cameron, can you please repeat the amount for the acting position?
114, comma, 016.
Thank you.
That was the earning during his previous acting appointment. 114, comma, 016.
Thank you. Since there was no opposition to your motion, it's passed.
Thank you.
Okay, who's gonna do the administrative report?
One more thing, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, was there a second?
Yes.
Who's the one that seconded the motion
Jeremy, did you second the motion?
for the administrative director position?
No, I didn't. but-
You didn't?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'll second it.
Okay,
Thank you.
since we have a second, we'll re-vote again on it.
Sure.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Since there's no opposition, it's passed.
Thank you.
Okay, now we go into the administrative director's report. Mr. Cruz?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, Commissioners. The first item, the first topic we'll be discussing is about the administrative task. Item number one is CLTC was granted a one-year extension for the TAP grant that was awarded by the Department of Interior Office of Insular Affairs. Our title project is enhancement of the CHamoru Commission's information technology infrastructure to improve its process. This grant will pay for a end user software to be developed to digitize and scan and index all our information and provide two little kiosks in our lobby area for our constituents to access. The next item is on August 11, 2025. I met with representatives from USDA and from RCAC to discuss potential programs that can benefit CLTC in terms of water and wastewater and housing. On August 19, 2025 and September 15, 2025, I met with Public Auditor Cruz and EY representatives to discuss the status of CLTC's FY 2023 independent financial audit. Currently, EY is working on the draft financial statements. And then attached to my report that you have, Vice Speaker and Oversight Chairman Senator Anthony Ada introduced Bill 176-38. We attached it for your reference and we'll put it on the agenda for the next board meeting.
I do have one question on administrative item number 1. What is the amount of the grant?
I believe it's $239,000. I can provide that
Approximately.
exact amount.
And then who's working on this project for us? Has this been bidded out or?
Not yet. So
Okay.
what's gonna happen is since we got the approval for the extension, we're creating a Gantt chart to detail our process. Myself and Dexter will be the individuals working on the RFP process.
Okay, so it hasn't been RFP'd out yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
We anticipate to get the RFP out by October, because we have timelines to meet. The next category in the director's report we'll be reporting is in regards to the land administration section, specifically on the $9 million appropriation that is related to GPA. Currently, since our meetings with GPA, we understand that the process is that the lessee will apply for the power services, and then CLTC will foot the bill for the installation of the secondary lines. However, CLTC currently has an MOA with GPA for the use of our property in Jigo next to the Jigo gym. We're seeing how the parameters of that MOA can fit into what we're trying to do to get the power or the utility infrastructure installed in the tracts of property that the board has approved already. We'll provide more updates at the next meeting after we meet with the people from GPA.
So there's an existing MOA between CLTC and GPA at a property in Jigo.
Correct.
And so what is the framework of that MOA?
They're currently using the property lot 7054-R9
Okay.
for a period of 3 years. In return, GPA for the 3 years will provide in-kind services for the installation of power utility valued at $190,000. We provide a copy of the MOA, absolutely. The next item is we received a letter from Mayor Francis Izama from the municipality of Jigo requesting for the remainder parcel of lot 7055. Right now, we're putting together the information. In the past, the previous CLTC board had designated that for commercial use. And I believe, if my memory serves me right, this specific property is under an MOA or MOU with either for property management services. But again, we'll provide more information in the next board meeting in relation to the mayor's request to utilize the property.
With regard to the mayor's request, what I'd like to push back and ask her is, she wants this property, but in her letter, I don't see any plan, any financial information, or any, kind of plan. She wants to develop something, so what's the plan? How much is it gonna cost? Where is she gonna get the money? How many people does she think she's gonna serve? Because it's one thing to just come right out and ask for property and not have a plan, and then it's gonna sit in her inventory, right? We don't wanna, that's something I think that we need to stay away from. If she has a plan, then let's take a look at it. If there's no plan behind the request, then it's gonna be in the back burner forever.
And then our next item is in regards to compliance inspections. At this time, we put a pause on all compliance inspections due to Public Law 24-62, which we also attached in your, to the director's report that was given. This public law requires requires or gives our lessees 3 years after the infrastructure has been installed to make improvements. We will further discuss this with Attorney Miller because in some leases, this public law is referenced, in others, it's not. But in the end, the property is the same, it's unimproved. As soon as we get guidance, that will determine for us to recommence, to commence our compliance inspections, and then we'll report to the board if there's any decisions that need to be made by the board or any directions that we will seek from the board. The next criteria we're going to cover is commercial. On May 1st, we received a letter from Mr. Dan Pedinko with Docomo requesting the renewal of 7 site leases which have expired or about to expire through the authority granted in Public Law 38-1. That letter is attached to the director's report. Again, Attorney Miller and I had met with Mr. Pedinko, and we did inform Mr. Pedinko that the board would have to approve such a request. We'll gather all the information and any public laws relevant to Mr. Pedinko's request to provide the board for their disposition.
We have a copy of the current site lease?
The leases, no, just the listing. But we can
This
provide,
listing? Oh, okay.
we can provide a copy of the leases. There's 7 sites. They're all antenna sites.
So I just wanted to know, at each time of renewal, has there been an evaluation of the lease agreement in terms of dollars?
For the telecommunication, the antenna sites, I don't believe so. It was not, a lot of our commercial leases of the past are not consistent where they require a reevaluation done.
So some of these leases started in 2001, it's now 2025, that's 24 years? So for the past 24 years, it's been the same lease amount, as an
Yes, ma'am.
example?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
For the ones that exceed the 21 years, it's almost like a holdover.
I suggest that when we see the leases, we take a look at that portion of the lease.
The last item, or the next item on the commercial is on August 10, 2025, the Guam Fire Department responded to a fire incident at Global Recycling. A site inspection was conducted on August 13, 2025. In your packet or attached to the letter to my report should be pictures of what we took. Also a letter signed by the acting chairman, Mr. Burrito, requesting for a phase 1 environmental study in accordance with the authorization to occupy. And also the letter gives a timeline. Global Recycling should submit the report no later than October 15, 2025. Mr. Chair, that's the, Commissioners, that's the end of that. We're good.
Okay, next on the agenda is old business.
We accept, we accept.
First item is constituent matters. Mr. A, congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. The next item on the agenda is the old business matter. And the first constituent I'd like to present this afternoon is, her name is Ruby Continua, who, she's not here to, she's unable here to attend this meeting. We did make several attempts via emails, phone calls, but was unsuccessful. But I'm just going ahead and proceed with our report. first matter is, Ms. Quintanilla's, transfer her application rights while the original applicant is still alive. And, moving to, the next item, on January 27, 2017, Ms. Annie Lee submitted a notarized letter relinquishing her application rights to Ruby Jean Quintanilla. With legal reference, Guam Administrative Rules, subsection 6A112, transfers of application rights mention the lessee shall designate the person or person to whom he directs his interest in the tract or tracts to vest upon his death. So only by death it can succeed. And on May 11, 2018, a letter from the former Attorney General, Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, wrote to the former chairperson, Ms. Pika Heron. She stated that there is no authority that allows an applicant during his lifetime to transfer or switch places to another applicant. So that's the case that we're having today. And in summary, the Department of Land Management Deputy Director David Camacho, at that time was merged with CLTC, approved the transfer of Annie Castro Lee's agriculture application rights to her niece Ruby Quintanilla and remains contrary to Guam Administrative Rules subsection 6A112 and the original Guam Administrative Rules subsection 6112. So, Board Legal Counsel Administrative Director actions recommended by the staff that prepared this report is to motion to approve, deny, or table the reversion of December 2nd, 1995, 8:54 a.m. agriculture application rights to the original applicant, who is Annie Castro Lee. Number 2, motion to approve, deny, table authorizing CLTC to contact Ms. Ann Castro Lee to begin the lease award process. So how we began, how we reached to the whole issue that started this process is she's one of the first batch, or second batch rather, in the 1995 application, and that we sent out a notice to, for them, for those who didn't receive any leases. So that's how we started the whole issue. It's not them coming to us, it's because they're a 1995 applicant. After reviewing that, we then found out that the application was switched not according to the law.
So my question here
Okay.
is, I have a question, excuse me, Commissioner Cameron. My question here is, the lease was granted to Castro Lee and subsequently transferred to Ruby Quintanilla. So when it was transferred, they were under the impression that that was okay, right?
Yes,
Okay,
this
so
was,
they transferred by no fault of their own, correct?
correct.
Okay, so now the request is, what do we do about it? What do we do about the transfer? Is that what you're asking?
Right, but there was a recommendation, but because this is in an application stage, it's not, and if it was a lease stage,
So
it
what
would
is the
be different.
recommendation?
The recommendation is to revert back
The property, the lease?
right, the agriculture application rights to the original applicant,
Yes.
which is Annie Castro Lee.
Okay.
And also, contact Ms. Annie Castro Lee to begin her lease of our
And
process.
to nullify the transfer. We have to nullify the transfer,
We have to make sure it
right?
goes back to her.
Mr. Chairman, only because that has been stated so eloquently, I would like to make a motion that in the staff report that we have just heard, it was emphasized that, and if you look at the documents that we received to review for the past several weeks, the former Attorney General of Guam, Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, clearly stated in her July 18, 2018 letter to then acting chairperson who was at that time Mr. Austin Duenas, that the Chamorro Land Trust Commission lacked the authority to transfer the original applicant's rights to Ms. Quintanilla during her lifetime. So, given this critical information that we are just now hearing, and I believe this is a seven-year lack of, this has been like 7 years of issue, and that, Chamorro Land Trust Commission lacked the authority to transfer the original applicant's rights to Ms. Quintanilla during her lifetime. So, given, this critical information, I strongly urge in this motion that we take immediate action to revert the application to the original applicant. This decision is not only legally justified, but it also upholds the integrity of our Chamorro Land Trust Commission process. That is my motion, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, can I add to that motion, in addition to reverting it back to the original leasing, also to nullify any action of transfer? Is that okay with you, Commissioner Cameron?
Yes, of course.
So there's there's something on the table right now. Is there a second for the,
I'll second.
okay? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Nay? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just for additional information, the transfer of application right who was designated to the niece, Ruby, she spoke with one of our land agents, and she had mentioned that the original applicant, Annie Castrolli, had passed. But
That subsequently passed.
right, but there's no, we asked to provide a death certificate or some sort of documents, because she can't provide that to us. We have to treat it as if she's still alive.
Thank you.
Since there was no objection to the motion passes. Next item?
Okay, the next, old business item is Mr. Richard Blas Santiago. His request is to terminate his March 12, 1997 residential lease for lot 17 block 4, tract 9210. So, this is, it's straight out, going to the summary. Mr. Richard Blas Santiago was awarded a residential lease agreement for lot 17, block 4, tract 9210, the municipality of Jigo on January 23, 1997, and then requested to terminate the lease agreement on June 2nd, 2015. A notarized letter was submitted and received by the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, Administrative Director Michael Borja. On June 9, 2016, facility staff noted on staff information sheet to remove Mr. Santiago from the database, but this action was not completed. Per 18 GAR, Chapter 6A, subsection 6A137, the lessee shall remain liable for taxes, assessments, and charges on whatever kind of nature on the said tract and improvements thereon. Suggested action is to terminate the residential lease for lot 17, block 4, tract 9210, Jigo, conditionally pending payment of taxes from 2005 to 2025, to pending. Return lot, that's the suggested action to terminate it, and also pay the back taxes after it's unpaid.
So who's gonna pay the back taxes?
They would have to,
Okay,
Yeah.
so the request is to terminate.
with
And-
conditions that they have to pay the taxes.
Okay, so are we gonna wait for them to pay the taxes and then return it back to inventory? Or once
I
it's,
would-
once the
we-
lease is terminated, we turn it back into inventory and he's still, this
We would
lessee-
rather have them pay the taxes first, then we terminate it.
I would like to include that, Commissioner Respicio, in the motion that you just so rightfully put. Is it the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart? And so I think on this motion, as recommended by the staff, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. This is a 20-year-old situation that, and you heard our chairman say, we can't dilly-dally anymore. We gotta do our job, and we gotta do it expeditiously. The chairman made that very clear to all of us in his opening statement as chair. So I'm making a motion for the Richard Blas Santiago situation that in response to Mr. Santiago's request that was dated back in June 2nd of 2015, imagine to that. I am making a motion to terminate his residential lease for lot 17, block 4, track 90 to 10. But he will remain, Commissioner Favorite, in my motion, he will remain responsible for all taxes and lease fees from the date of the lease was awarded until the date that the board approves the termination. That's my motion.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion. I also have a discussion point. So I second the motion, but I do have a question for the CLTC staff. What is the proper protocol when the lease is terminated? Why should we wait until they pay their taxes? I mean, that property can be released out to another individual waiting in line. I don't think that the payment of taxes should prohibit the CLTC from moving forward in reissuing that property. Only because if this person has not paid their taxes in the past 25 years, are we gonna wait another 25 years? So is there anything that prohibits CLTC from reintroducing this property into our inventory once the lease is terminated? That's my question.
There's nothing. Unfortunately, I can't speak to why it took this long to address Mr. Santiago's request. However, because of the follow-up, in order for us to move and process a termination of lease document, we need the board's approval. But there's nothing that prevents us from awarding this specific property once the lease is terminated.
So do we need to amend
That's
the
correct.
motion to add
Well-
add this lease, add this property back into the inventory?
Well,
Immediately.
before we go there, I do have a comment to make. It's my understanding that taxes follow the property, not the name individual. So if we take the property back, the taxes will follow the property. So we need a clarification from Reverend Tax, what we can do in this particular case.
Mr.
That's
Chair,
true.
if I may, just given the task that we worked on in the past, if a termination of lease is prepared and recorded and shared with DRT, it doesn't remove or waive any assessed taxes from the past. They will still be liable for paying. An example would be like GICC that we discussed several meetings ago. Although ownership changed for the property, it remained and it followed. So it won't relieve them of their tax owed from previous years.
I think, to Commissioner Garrido, maybe if I can expand a little bit on that, I think the deeper question is, when the tax follows the property, so if we reissue a lease on that same property, the new lessee, would they be able to encumber that lot so that they can build?
I believe so. I think it follows the individual.
Not necessarily. Well, it depends, I mean, you know, from my experience, when the financial institutions are gonna lend, you know, when reports are done, if there's taxes that are outstanding, it doesn't matter who owns it. If it's outstanding on the property, it shows on a title report. So, unless those taxes are cleared, it may be an issue for the new lessee.
Definitely we can reach out to the real property division to get clarification.
I just don't want to wait to reintroduce that particular parcel back into our inventory.
At the next board meeting, we'll have an update in regards to the property taxes.
Would you like to
Make a motion subject to,
the verification from Reverend Tax about
Okay.
the back taxes following the
So
property?
Commissioner Cameron, I'd like to amend your motion to, subject to, your motion to terminate this lease and return the property back into CLTC inventory, subject to, Director Joey Cruz's findings on whether or not, how the property taxes can be settled.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part.
So, subject to, just to add to your motion, to terminate and put this lot back into CLTC inventory immediately. And
Yes.
for further investigation for, Acting Director Joey Cruz to see how this property can be used for another lessee.
Yes, I accept that amendment to the motion.
Okay, so I second it.
Any further discussion? If not, do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the second? If not, let's take the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Since there's no opposition to the motion, the motion passes. Next item is Leah Rojas.
Okay, Commissioner, that, Ms. Leah and Rojas request is to refer application to the original applicant, who is Marvin Gary Rojas, and revert application type back to residential. The issues are, the application was transferred administratively by Deputy Director Camacho on February 14th, 2018 to Leah Rojas, also known as Rojas Trong, and a legal opinion from the Attorney General from Elizabeth Barrett Anderson stated the statute requires that every applicant must wait in line and does not allow an applicant to transfer their application rights prior to death. So this is the same thing again from the Attorney General's opinion that you cannot transfer application right while being alive. And going straight to summary, is to revert back the application to the original applicant, Marvin J. Rojas, and revert the application type to residential.
So
This is another switch again from agriculture to residential. That was not done in accordance with the law.
So we're just putting it back
So
to,
in light of,
wait,
are we talking about, I need some clarification. When I look at this thing, Leah Rojas, and I'm reading this entire thing, I'm dating back 22 years of no action. Am I correct?
This one again was, the 2017, this all happened when a letter of relinquishment was received to transfer to residential application. And back in 2018, when there was, or 19, there was an audit by the Attorney General, then it was found that this type of action wasn't according to the law. So it's from back then to now, we're now just trying to bring it back to
bring it back into
into
compliance.
compliance, right, yeah. Mhm.
So in light of the July 18, 2018 correspondence from the Attorney General of Guam, we're talking about Elizabeth Paradise, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion in light of this, that the July 18, 2018 correspondence from Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, I would like to make a motion that we return the application to Mr. Marvin.
Application rights
And
back
restore
to,
its original application type, residential. This action
Back
aligns
to
with the
residential,
guidance
yes.
provided and respects the integrity of the application process. That's my motion.
I second that motion.
There being a second, we'll go to the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Since there's no opposition to it, the motion passes. Next item?
so the next item on the agenda is Karen Castrobarro Perez for appearance of impropriety, I would like to recuse myself from the next constituent matter due to family relation. So Ms. Lydia Toledo will present the case.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Lydia Tillell. I am a CLTC Land Agent 1. Appearing on her behalf is Karen Kasserbauer Perez.
Welcome.
So, Ms. Kasserbauer Perez was issued in January 23rd, 1997, a residential lease for a tract in Jago, which was based on her December 2nd, 1995 8:27 a.m. number 18 application rights. She declined Jago lease and requested to revert her application type from residential to agriculture, which it was approved administratively. Then she was issued a survey authorization, which she completed for a tract with Deddyville. So now what it is we have her at the application stage. The law is silent regarding changing of application rights. It doesn't say you can't and it doesn't say you can. However, every action that Ms. Perez has done was based on the advice given to her by CLT staff members. So now the board needs to decide, because her date and time is up, she is part of batch 2. Do we move forward with the lease award? Do we revert her back to her original type? And she already has property which would change her priority status to 2. Or do we allow her to remain at the application that she was administratively approved but not allowed under the law? It is cited on this matter. However, this is the example I'm gonna give. We called it the ping pong game in our family. I would ask my father permission to do something. He would say, go to your mother. I'd go to my mother. She would say, ask your father. I would play this game all along. Then when it came time, I would decide on my own. I would go and do whatever it was. If I wanted to go to a party, I didn't have permission, but I was never told no. I would come back and I'd be in trouble, because while they did not specifically say I could go, they didn't say I could or couldn't go. They were silent on it. Either way, I was at fault. However, in the case of Ms. Perez, it was not her fault. She was advised by CLT staff and administratively approved.
So what is your recommendation?
Well, in the July meeting, Commissioner Perspicio, you made a motion and it was approved that if an applicant has a recorded survey map on registered property at CLTC, they should be allowed to be issued a lease. However, in making that decision, which the board did approve, there was no mention of the conditions that needs to concur, which is the law is very clear. Leases are to be awarded by date and time, unless you are a pre-occupier and you can legally prove that you have continuously occupied the property and you are qualified under the act. Nor did you say you must qualify under the new rule. Nor did you say you have to fulfill the conditions for a lease award. However, once again, Ms. Perez is not at fault. So for me, the way I look at it, Ms. Perez could always come in, apply as an agriculture applicant, and because the board decided, because she has a recorded survey map on property that was issued, that is allowed to be issued out by CLTC, they can approve her lease award. The only concern we need to look at is the size of the lot and the rental rate, because the law is very clear on that.
Ms. Linda, I appreciate your long-winded answer. I'm specifically referring to, what is your recommendation on item 5 on the motion to approve, deny, or change Ms. Perez's application from agriculture to residential? What is your recommendation? To approve it to the original application type? That's my question.
Because the law is silent on it, that is a matter for you commissioners
Okay.
to decide.
But what you're saying is that because she already did the survey? Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
secondly,
I would like to make a motion based on this. This is a 28-year itch to me, and that really just has no way. I can't participate in this commission seeing a 28-year-old itch. I really, sorry for the words, this is ridiculous. My motion is based on your report, ma'am. It is noted that, Mrs. Karen Paris has successfully completed the survey that was designated as, let me see, 226 fiscal year 2020. And that request for the legal property description for the property that Mrs. Paris surveyed, and we have in our packet the actual document that shows that it was surveyed. So on July 17 of 2025, the board did take an important step by motioning to approve the lease awards for applicants who have completed surveys on registered properties. We make that very clear. Now I make a motion to move forward with approving the lease award to Ms. Paris for the property she had surveyed contingent upon the approval of the Guam legislature. The reason why I say that is because given that the lease in question exceeds the half acre.
Mr. Speaker?
is he done? Can I, are you done, Commissioner Cameron? I'm sorry, I just like all of a sudden.
Yes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, can I just add to your motion, in addition to approving the application type from agriculture to residential, which is the original application type, also to change the residential priority status from NA to 2? No?
If you're going to issue her an agriculture lease, priority status does not matter. It only matters when issuing residential leases. Priority 1 is those who own no property. Priority 2 is those who own at least one piece of property. Priority 3 is 2 or more. If she
So-
goes to residential, she could go to priority 2, which means we have to process everybody who is priority 1 before we can begin to process those who are priority 2.
Okay,
Only after processing all priority 2 do we go to 3.
thank you for your long-winded explanation. So I don't think that Commissioner Cameron, so your motion is just to change back to the original application type. Is that correct?
I'm asking that, to approve the lease awards for the applicants who have completed surveys on registered properties. Maybe we can ask Ms. Paris, what property was actually registered?
If I may, first I want to thank you all for having me and thank the commissioners for accepting my request to table me from June's agenda so that I could physically be here. The packets you have that I provided for you is a set of documents that is pretty detailed. I'm probably the only applicant that's hired a lawyer. And this is a copy of that packet my lawyer sent to then Commissioner, to Commission Lawyer Nicholas Taft back in 2022. Because for 30 years I've been trying to move things forward and can't seem to get it done on my own. So I hired an attorney. In doing so, it is documented here, and the survey that Commissioner Cameron mentions is Exhibit 9. That was submitted since 2021 and even signed off by Paul Santos, the chief surveyor for the island at Land Management. In here also consists, from June 4th of, I think, 2009, a letter from then Commissioner individual, Mr. Garcia, of the intent to award me a lease. The history of this goes back to 1995, when I was then 35 years old with 2 children. Now I sit here almost 66 years old, 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. and I still don't have something. I was given property that the CLTC can't give away. And I kept being told you can't go forward and build on a residential lot because there's no infrastructure. Finally, I was told in 2009, there's no infrastructure because we don't own the property. And at that time, it was advised to me in the CLTC office by a CLTC member to write a letter addressed to the then director, Mr. Joseph Borja, which I did, and it's copied in here, asking to switch to from a residential to agricultural. And I was assured that would be a faster track, because at that time, there was very slim inventory for residential. I did as complied. I have then surveyed this land, because back then, 2 acres was the allowable amount of land to be issued a lease for. So I've actually paid for my 99-year lease on a residential property that I've never been able to build on, and subsequently is not in CLTC inventory, and have just complied with every step for the last 30 years with what CLTC has offered. So there is intent to offer me a lease on record in this commission since 2009, June 2nd, I believe, or June 4th. And I still don't have a lease. So,
Is this an agricultural lease, Ms.
yes, yes it is.
The original lease.
And I think that was the question of Commissioner Respicio.
The original
Mrs.
the original lease, I'm sorry, Commissioner Cameron, the original lease was residential.
Yeah.
But in 2009, it was recommended by CLTC employees, our employee that I met, to switch to agriculture because it would be much faster to get something, even though I already had a signed lease and made a payment, but it was to land CLTC didn't actually own. So, what am I supposed to do? I paid for a lease, I supposedly have land, but I can't build because there's no infrastructure. Now I can't build because it's not your inventory. And so at the recommendation, switch to agriculture. I did, it was approved. There's a letter, and it's part of this packet, that says there's an intent to issue me a lease. Since '09, it's 2025. I still don't have that lease, and it's the board stand in '09 to issue me a lease. I'm just asking, can I please have that lease? And yes, it's for an agricultural lot, and it's for 2 acres, which is what it complied with back in the law, understanding in 2009. And I would like to ask the payment I made for a residential lot that's never been able to be used, be recognized and considered part of whatever the payment is for an agricultural lot, because I understand they're not at the same value for rent.
Correct. Ms. Perez, I'm going back to Commissioner Respicio, and that was an excellent question she asked, and you did say so, that it was agricultural. So the motion really that I was making, or I am making, is based on the report, and that it is noted that you have successfully completed the survey designed as 22-6 FY 2020, that you request for the legal property description for the property you surveyed, which is agricultural. And that was the question that Commissioner Respicio was saying. So we're looking back to July 17th, as I stated earlier. So I think we're adding in the word that is agricultural, that the board took an important step by motioning to approve the lease awards for applicants who have completed surveys on registered properties, which you did. So now I make a motion to move forward with approving the lease award to Ms. Perez for the property she had surveyed contingent upon the approval of the legislature. And we did say this. At the time, 2 acres was okay. But given that the lease is in question exceeds half an acre, that would go to the legislature. And it would be really this commission, because I believe there are many other leases that are out there the same. And they may require grandfathering to get back to the tracks of where they waited for 28 to 30 years. And then all of a sudden, years later, they cut the amount of 2 acres down to not to exceed half an acre. So I think this is gonna be a responsibility of us as commissioners to go to Senator Tony Ada. I know I'm moving away from that motion, but it's certainly a discussion and have him look at all these discrepancies, and there are many. There are really many. I spoke to Joey, Cruz about this, and he said there's a lot. And you guys sitting there at the table, who work for CLTC, you know this is the darn truth. So I'm gonna go back and justify my motion that we need to go ahead and approve what she's already surveyed.
Lydia, Karen had mentioned that its property in question is not in our inventory.
No, it is in our inventory.
The residential that I initially was given and paid the lease on was residential, and I was told I couldn't build because there's no infrastructure. And that's from 95 until 2009, then I was finally told the reason there's no infrastructure is because that property, residential, is not in the inventory. It doesn't belong to CLTC.
So is that fact correct or not?
It is true, so what it is at the time, the Air Force made an agreement with the family to utilize the property near the building that you would have to do the intake to get on the base. They requested to use that property to pasture their cows or their cattle, and they were approved. And then the property was given over to CLTC at some point. So I believe these families have been issued leases in that area. So the lot that they were considered
So
preoccupiers.
is the lot in the inventory or not currently?
It's currently, and it's already leased out. So when she was
So
given the
the property
lease,
that she made a survey on is leased to another family?
No, ma'am.
No.
The
Okay.
property that I surveyed is agricultural, because in '09 I was told it was not, the residential was not something I could have. It was in dispute and it was not resolved, and therefore it's not considered in inventory at that time in 2009.
But now it's in the inventory.
Was the original lot 2, block
On
2?
one side of the street,
Yeah,
across
it was
the
the
other side of the
92
street, is that what it is?
I'm
To
sorry.
get another lot, correct?
I'm sorry, repeat that, please?
You went from one side of the street, Gigo, to the other side of the street just to get the agricultural?
No, I went from Jigo to Dedio.
Oh my goodness.
So I was told, in '09, I was actually told that all the people that had lots in that area where I was have been reassigned other lots. And in looking in my folder, found out that, oh, we missed contacting you and probably several others. And there's low to no inventory in 2009 for residential lots. So even though I had signed a lease and I had made a payment, I could not build because there's no infrastructure. There's no infrastructure because there's this conflict, and all the people that supposedly had lots there were reassigned other lots, except for me. And I don't know who else fell through the cracks. So at that time, because I was told there was little to no inventory,
I wanna apologize. This is so bad.
yeah, so I was,
Ms. Paris, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. This is such a travesty of sorts. And you know, I really believe that the motion that I made earlier, and I know we're going ping pong here, trying to figure out 20, almost 30 years ago.
come this December.
I motion is appropriate, and I would like to stand my motion.
Commissioner Rojas, any concerns? I'm sorry, Commissioner Respicio.
I second the motion. I second the motion. Can we go into discussion?
Yes.
Because my only concern now is when we come to these meetings, based on the staff report, I want to make sure that the requests, every request is addressed. So it doesn't seem that ABC is being addressed with Commissioner Cameron's motion. Is that right? So my point is, I want to make sure that when we leave this table, Ms. Perez walks away feeling fulfilled and satisfied that we've addressed her requests. And it seems that there's three actions to be taken. Am I reading that right?
well, you can,
Because I feel like we're going around in a circle,
so
you know,
you
so
can
please
always
make it
make a
clear.
motion, the motion A, the
Yes.
motion to deny the change of application type.
But she doesn't want that. She wants back to the original type. Is that
No, she
correct?
does not want back
Oh.
to the original type.
So
Ms. Paris,
why is
would
that a
you be
request?
satisfied, Ms.
Why is that a
Paris,
request?
On my motion to supply
Then
this
just keep her as
entire
agriculture.
commission some level of comfort on this motion? Is this something you're looking for, Ms. Paris?
If I understand you correctly, Commissioner Cameron, you're saying your motion is to accept which is an application for agriculture that has been surveyed.
Yes.
I would like to simply ask if you can add into your motion that the money already paid for a lot that was residential that I never actually got be applied to this if it's approved.
That becomes a legal matter, Ms.
Yeah.
Paris, and whether or not we have retroactivity under the statutes of limitation. That's something that, the acting director of the commission may have to seek out for the Office of Attorney General, because that's a legal matter. When we're looking at dollars and cents, that go way back, and then now, making it an application towards what you currently, that could either fall under small claims court. It could either, a claim to the Attorney General to have Tomorrow Land Trust return the monies, if that's who was paid. But that would have to make another course of action. But I'm just asking the simple question. Aside from that, would what the motion I'm making satisfy your 30 years of waiting? That's, I'm asking that.
If I understand you're asking me, if I understand your motion, it's to accept the agricultural application with the survey for a lease. Yes,
Yes.
that satisfies me.
Okay, thank you.
Director Cruz,
That
you look like you had
motion stands, it was seconded, and I believe we need to vote, I guess, now that you're happy.
We have a question from Commissioner Rojas.
Sorry, Commissioner Cameron, Director Cruz looked like he had a comment. I just wanted to hear what he had to say.
So if,
Yeah, sure.
if Mrs. Paris had made any payments towards a lease that doesn't exist, we record it in our books as like a prepayment. We will verify, because there's no lease to apply the payments to. But we will, an unearned revenue, we'll record in our books. But definitely we will get the guidance of Attorney Miller. Because again, if Mrs. Paris had made payments towards a lease that does not exist, in our books, it's unearned revenue that we're recording it as, and we do track it. And then potentially if the lawyer says yes, then definitely it'll be applied
So
to.
could we make it, could we continue his motion subject to your clarification on that? Does that
Well,
work?
his motion is only to,
To approve.
to deny to keep it back, to keep it agriculture. That's all his
Okay.
motion is.
If
We
there's
have
any-
not entertained any
Okay.
If
financial.
in fact we do find any
reimbursements.
unearned revenue due from the payment of Mrs. Paris, we'll bring it back to the board.
Yeah, I guess what I wanna try to avoid is with how long she's been waiting. I kinda wanna avoid bringing her back to the table, you know? I'd like to, if we could, you know, deal with everything now and,
But it seems that we're gonna have to wait.
So,
right?
the motion that I have, Commissioner Justicio and Commissioner Rojas, satisfies our client who's been waiting for many, many years. And I really believe that we need to move on approving, what she had requested on the agricultural lease. And the part that stands out like a sore thumb to me is that she was told, go and survey that darn land, and we'll give it to you. Well, she did it, and under the laws of Guam, we are now have a fiduciary responsibility to acknowledge that and accept it. Anything thereafter is separate on this motion.
We can add your,
so, well, the other question I have now is, if you look and that, her payments that were made before could be credited, is there any action necessary on the board's part to do that, to move her? Okay, so then we won't even need to address it in the motion.
You would discredit it.
Right, okay.
But getting back to Commissioner Respicio, what you guys could do is on item A and B, you can make a motion to deny changing her application type from agriculture to the original with it remaining at agriculture. And then going to B, motion to deny changing her priority status from NA to 2 and keeping it at NA. Therefore, it would fulfill the conditions for her to be issued an agriculture lease.
So it's to her benefit to stay as,
Yes.
agriculture.
The only concern is, once again, the law is silent. So,
Just to give everybody a little context on what happened in the past, was at one point CLTC issued a portion of leases, and then later the process changed, and then they developed a notice of intent to award, which is not a legal binding document, but the prerequisite in order to effectuate a lease was to get it surveyed. Unfortunately, Mrs. Perez probably fell within that process, but nothing was ever followed up nor followed through. So she didn't, no lease was executed for Mrs. Perez today. If CLTC did execute a lease at that time, Mrs. Perez will fall under the lease of account. And then we'll be at a different juncture or at a different,
Correct.
process
You know,
today.
Mr. Cruz, I'm just gonna say this once and for all. Things have not been hunky-dory peachy keen with CHamoru Land Trust for years. And I want to tell you something. This is gonna open up Pandora's box, and I mentioned this when I was in the legislature. Pandora's box is a lot of evil. Evil. That's the evils of the CHamoru Land Trust Commission. And it should not be the bearings of all these folks. This is the sins of the past, for God's sakes. We can't keep reading back and forth, this is A, this is B, this is C. There will be a multitude of lawsuits, I predict. Because there's not just this one, buddy, there's a lot. And I could ask you off the table to give me that list, and it would actually curl my hair without a firm solution. I do not want to go into the courtroom. I believe already, Ms. Barrett, did you say that the motion I was making would satisfy you? Don't you be satisfied?
Yes, I said. For the record, I said yes.
Motion.
Well, Mr. Cameron, Commissioner Cameron, please restate your motion because there's have been so many things going on left and right. So to clarify your motion before we get a second,
Okay, my motion is based on the report. It is noted that Ms. Karen Harris has successfully completed the survey designated as 22-6 FY 2020. And again, I'm saying that the request for the legal property description for the property that Ms. Harris surveyed. Please, listen carefully. On July 17, 2025, the board took an important step by motion to approve lease awards for applicants who have completed surveys on registered properties. Now, I make the motion to move forward with approving the lease award to Ms. Paris for the property she had surveyed, contingent upon the approval of the Guam legislature, given that the lease in question exceeds half an acre.
do I have a second?
I'm so sorry, but I thought that the one that you surveyed is not the one that you want,
What I surveyed is the agricultural lot.
and that's the one that you want.
Yes.
Okay, I second the motion.
Thank you.
Since the motion is second, let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay.
Aye.
Since there's no opposition, the motion is approved.
And I'm very sorry, Ms. Paris. Oh my God, I don't know how you now have grandchildren.
And a great grandchild.
Oh, Lord.
And a great grandchild.
don't forget the
Who's
grade.
2 years old already. Thank you, everybody.
You know, they say CHamoru, CHamoru. So today we get the CHamoru.
Thank you, and congratulations on your promotion. And your reinstatement.
And I'm sorry for being so passionate. It's just that, you know what, I can see myself in this case.
Congratulations, Ms. Paris. It was a hard fight.
Thank you very much for allowing me.
Next on the agenda is the Department of Land Management MOA.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, in your packet is the final draft of the MOA between the CHamoru Land Trust Commission and the Department of Land Management for the surveying services that was previously approved by the board to also to utilize a portion of the $9 million appropriation. The properties include tract 319, Municipality of Hauget, tract 1113, block 16, Municipality of Dedido, tract 15344, Municipality of Manilao, tract 1722, Municipality of Manilao, tract 18113, Municipality of Manilao, and block 7116, Municipality of Chico. Today we present it to you for the board's approval, acceptance and approval, so that we may continue the process of getting this MOU executed and the Department of Land Management paid for their services that they will render.
So you're asking for the, what are you asking for, from us commissioners? You're asking a motion to approve the MOA?
Yes, correct.
I would like to yield either to Commissioner Rojas or Commissioner Vespucci to make that motion if they wish.
Who drafted the MOA? Is this within, our legal standards of MOA? Because this is not our first MOA
No,
with
so
this agency. I just want to make sure that it's consistent with prior MOAs and
it's
with the
been,
intention of what the board.
it's been reviewed and by Attorney Miller, it has gone back and forth with DLM and CLTC. Any changes that were recommended by Attorney Miller, were included.
Incorporated. So in your opinion, does this do what we need to move us forward?
To get this property surveyed, yes, yes it will. If the board should accept and approve, our process would be, we do request that the chairperson also, because he's the acting chairperson, be authorized to sign the document on behalf of CLTC, but once all the signatures are gathered, we anticipate to process payment by the end of next week with the Department of Administration.
So I just want to be clear that the scope of work, pardon me, Commissioner Cameron, the scope of work includes not only the physical survey, but the formulation of maps that are also going to be certified and recorded. So that's what these funds are for. It includes the recording fee.
The scope
Because
of work-
sometimes those are separate.
Well, because we're a government entity, isn't it the official?
It could be.
Okay, but it's gonna be, we're gonna receive a map, a certified map to be recorded.
It should, because it
Okay,
says
and it will
final
be
map.
recorded, okay.
And so, you're asking, Mr. Cruz, you're asking that if somebody was to make a motion, that it would include that, our chairperson would be the individual, of course, fiduciarily would be the one to sign off on behalf of CLTC. Yeah, you're right.
Just so that we cross our Ts and dot our Is. There's no, the board concurrently all agree collectively.
I'll make a motion to approve the MOA between DLM and the COTC to include having our chairman sign the MOA.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? Any concerns?
None.
If no concerns, let's move on to voting on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to it, motion passes. Next on the agenda is Guam Waterworks Authority, MOA.
Again, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, we present to you the final draft of the MOA between Guam Waterworks Authority and the CHamoru Land Trust Commission for the installation of water and wastewater in tract 1113, block 16, Municipality of Dedido, consisting of 71 residential lots. Please note that this amount of $7,191,000 is the estimates of today, there may be a possibility, there may be a slight increase, maybe a slight decrease. However, the numbers and the estimates is as of today, current. But again, we're seeking the board's approval to accept and approve the MOA between GWA and CLTC. Also, the approval for having the acting chairperson to sign off on behalf of CLTC.
I want to correct you, sir. He's not the acting chairperson. The governor has appointed him the chairperson.
Okay, we haven't received that letter yet.
That letter has not come down the pipeline.
Okay, so we'll keep it at acting, but just so for the record,
Yes.
I heard it straight from her mouth that he is going to be our chair.
Congratulations now.
So, you know, just point of discussion with your statement earlier. Should this $7,191,000 not be enough? Is there, what's our contingency? Are we gonna reduce the amount of lots that we prepare?
Since this project, I believe there's a 4-year plan for the implementation, execution, and completion. We do have the survey and infrastructure fund within CLTC. If need be, if there is resources available, the fund may be able to supplement the difference. Like I mentioned earlier in my report, I did speak with the USDA folks, Mr. Tony from the Guam office and Ms. Lenny from the Hawaii office. USDA does have a water and wastewater program that we may, if we have to, seek some federal funding through the grant. But nonetheless, this is history in the making for the CHamoru Land Trust, because since I've been here since '98, I don't remember any parcel where we laid water and wastewater. And if all that I mentioned should fail, then we head to the legislature and ask for a little infusion of some money. I mean, you know, collectively we can all make this happen.
I'll make a motion.
It's really a historical move on behalf of this commission. I'm really proud to be part of this commission at this present time, because we're gonna see so many families finally go to the bank and get the money they need to build their dream home. I'm so excited, quite honestly. I'll yield to the other commissioners to make a motion to approve it.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the MOA between Guam Water Works Authority and the CHamoru Land Trust Commission.
And to have them sign.
He's not here.
I think he needs to sign, yes.
This will only be signed by yourself and,
No, we request that
Oh, okay.
the acting chairperson be authorized to sign.
I make a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the Guam Water Works Authority and the CHamoru Land Trust Commission to include the chairperson, Mr. Ogurito, as a signatory.
I second that motion.
Motion was made and was second. We take it to a vote. All in favor, say
I
aye.
wanna get into a discussion point.
Okay.
I just, because it's very important that you mentioned that this is history in the making. So this is the first time that CLTC is moving forward in bringing water pipes and wastewater into a subdivision, correct? So, not to speak ill of our partners at GWA, but I just, in this MOA, because I'm not an engineer, I wanna make sure that what we agree and what they agree to do for this price does indeed include everything, because I don't want, a year down the road, oh, we forgot to add this, oh, we forgot to add the connectors to the pipe. Do you know what I mean? So what assurances do we have, or what, I guess, extra set of eyes, aside from GWA? You see what I mean? Because you're saying this is the price for today, okay, this is the price for today, but when their engineers change, I don't want them to say, oh, we forgot this, we forgot that, and the next thing you know, we're at 12 million.
I believe.
So that's my only, I mean, I want to move forward with the MOA, but I just want to make sure that there's something in here, which I do not see, that says that this is a complete, comprehensive, and should anything be missed on their part, that it needs to be absorbed by GWA. You know, it's like when you're,
You know-
it's like when you're constructing a house, right? And you forget to add the cost for plaster. But everyone knows that you need to plaster the outside in order to create a smooth surface in order to paint. But if the plaster's not included, the contractor will go after you to say, well, now I need to charge you to plaster. I don't want that to be the case with GWA.
Correct. Maybe what we could do, Commissioner Rishi, thank you so much for saying that, because when I built the Guam Museum, when I built the 5 public libraries, when I built the CHamoru Village, when I can go with a list of buildings I've built, the mental health facility, I know exactly what you're saying, because we can get, pardon the expression, screwed by some people and say, oh, by the way, these are added features. No, so I think it really is our wonderful chair who is gonna be reviewing this, and it's gonna be a memorandum of agreement, and there's severability clauses, there are clauses there that says specifically, no, buddy, you ain't moving fast forward trying to get me under the bus with additional monies. We agreed to the $7,191,000, and everybody in hell wants ice water too, you ain't getting it. You know what I'm saying? Our chairman will go through that, and if he sees things, if he wants to reconvene us, he can call for another meeting.
So I guess the question is with regard to change orders. You know, should there be a change order because of something that may have been missed from GWA? I want to make sure that that change order, and that's actually a very standard verbiage in contracts,
Okay.
right? That's a
Yes.
very standard in
Yeah.
construction contracts. If there's a change order, because let's say, you know, you designed a bathroom, but the architect forgot to put the window in the bathroom, so then you have to make a change order. And who's gonna pay for the change order, the owner
Right.
or the contractor?
Yeah,
Because,
so this is what I believe,
because I don't see that in here.
Commissioner,
I wanna
it's
protect- I wanna
really
protect our
fair on
fund.
target. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
So,
Because, you know, at this point, we can't squeeze milk out of a turnip, can we?
right, so, I seconded the motion, but I don't know if this needs to be kicked back to Attorney Miller, because it doesn't seem like he caught it either. But we need to act on it expeditiously, and, I'm wondering if we can continue with that
Contingent.
motion, contingent on, or can we restate your motion? Or can we amend the motion to accept this MOA with the signature of our chairperson, contingent on adding the verbiage regarding change orders? There's a specific verbiage for contracts.
So like I
Yes.
mentioned earlier, this figure is an estimate of today, what it'll cost today. It may increase next year, and like I did mention, and how Commissioner Rose asked about additional funding, if there is a change.
So I'm not talking about increase in cost of labor or materials. I'm talking about change order. Because when I look at this, it specifically says, okay, they're gonna give us 25 manholes. So that, what I'm talking about is if there's something that they missed, that they didn't specify here, and that's gonna require a change order, that shouldn't be at the cost of CLTC, because we're relying on them as experts to provide the best possible product and service for the people of Guam, for our people.
Okay.
And not
Yes,
to revert and say, oh, I forgot this. Well, if you forgot it,
Yeah,
who's gonna eat it? The people of Guam?
correct.
We'll
I
definitely-
Or the
have
beneficiaries of the
experience with,
trust?
Commissioner Respicio with a museum, where the contractors tried to walk the goofy me for another $400,000, but in the actual memorandum of agreement, we were very specific, because Gita helped me write that. And we brought them in, but they said, oh, you know, excuse me, like what you just said, no, they absorbed it, but you're right, that language has to be embedded.
So that's,
Thank you, Commissioner Respicio.
that's my amendment to your motion. Is that acceptable to you, Commissioner Rojas?
Fine. I mean, of course, GWA would have to agree to it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're the experts, and I'm sure they will, because they know what they're doing, right? So they should have no problems with it. Because I'm sure they put everything that needs to be put in here.
We need to put everything in the kitchen sink and then
I'm assuming so too, because it says sewer system and.
Right, we're just
water.
assuming, because we don't know. Yeah.
But we'll.
We'll just add that verbiage.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz, for saying that, when time lapses, the prices go up. But that's not what Commissioner Respicio is talking about. We're talking about the bird in hand, not the two birds in the bush.
So do we need to
Okay.
restate the motion, or are we?
Yes, just for clarification.
Okay. So I motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the Guam Water Works Authority and the Chamorro Land Trust Commission to include the authority of our chairperson, Mr. Earl Garrido, to sign the document, as well as to incorporate Commissioner Respicio's comment about any change orders or costs for any change orders being borne by Guam Water Works Authority.
Oversight, by their initial oversight.
Or, okay, any change orders resulting from any oversight be borne by the Guam Water Works Authority.
I second that motion.
So the motion is second. Any more discussions on the matter? If not, we go to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Since there's no opposition, the motion passes.
I think, Mr. Chairman, it would be appropriate that when anything happens with this, where they actually break ground, we need to do a groundbreaking, don't you think?
Ooh, wow.
When we get a solid contract with them, yes, there will be a groundbreaking.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And in that groundbreaking, of course, we have to get ADLIP involved also.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
I want to see you with the shovel, sir.
Huh?
I said, I want to see you with the shovel, sir. Yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda is Bill number 32-38, Resolution 2025-001.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, in your packet, you'll find the draft of CLTC Resolution 2025-001 that is related to Bill 32-38, an act to authorize the transfer of lot 5173-1-R2 new -R7 and lot 5173-1-R2 new -6 in the municipality of Zumuning of the Chamorro Land Trust Commission to the heirs of Francisco D. Perez, the original landowner.
Who's asking for this resolution, Mr. Cruz?
This resolution
Who
is.
is asking for this resolution? Is this the document that's being requested by anybody?
We'll have to go back to my.
Are we-
But yes,
I guess my question is, I know that Bill 3238 cannot move forward without this particular document. Is this the document that our oversight chair, Senator Addis, referring to, that he can't move it into the session unless he has a particular document? Is this the resolution he's referencing?
correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that clarification.
They would not accept our minutes of the meeting. They wanted something directly from CLTC in resolution form.
I make a motion to accept this resolution.
Any second?
No second.
Any discussion? If no discussions, we go to the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Since there's no opposition to it, the motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask to, just on an opportunity here, Commissioner Rojas has a part of this agenda, and I'm afraid that he would have to leave very soon, if not sooner, but I would like for him to entertain a motion that is under his wings. Commissioner Rojas, if you don't, first of all, I ask the permission of the chair
Yeah, because
to move up his motion to now so that it doesn't fall on the wayside if we run out of time. Would you like to say something, Mr. Rose, as to what it is you want to do?
Just to clarify Mr. Cameron's statement, I need to leave at 4 p.m. today, so if we move things along, I think we'll be okay. But I did want to, if we could, I know it's just one item, but lot 7161-R1 Geo for the racetrack. If we could,
Oh, to move that up,
yeah, if we could move that up.
hear it now?
Well,
I think did you already take the vote for the resolution?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
yes, we did. Okay. So I know we have some members of the GMA here, if you guys want to.
So you wanna bring F
F.
up?
Yeah,
Okay.
so you make a motion for that, or
Does he need to make a motion?
do
He's
I need to make a motion to do that, or are we? Is it required?
No, I believe I can
arrange this,
rearrange the order.
Yeah.
So, in relation to this item, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, it was to set a work session date. After discussing with Dexter to ensure that we meet, the open government law in terms of publication and all that other great stuff, we are suggesting and requesting the acceptance and approval of the board to schedule a work session for October 9, 2025 at 1 p.m. here at the office.
So can you give me the agenda, or what's the nature of the work session?
It will be to discuss the non-commercial lease agreement with the Guam Motorsports Association for lot 7161-R1 in Chico. I believe in the packet, there's a copy of the Budget Act that speaks to CLTC negotiating a non-commercial lease with the Guam Motorsports Association. So during the working session, or the topic of the working session would be the discussions on the criteria, the terms and conditions, the review, and will enable us to gather information from GMA and the board in terms of what the board is acceptable,
Yeah.
so that we can prepare a draft non-commercial license.
And these gentlemen will be able to attend as well, right?
Yes, just like how we did with
With
GICC.
JICC, right, yeah.
So could you also provide the prior lease? Because this was formerly under lease, but with another organization, right? This lot?
It's under the Guam Racing
Yeah.
Federation.
So
Right,
can
right.
we get a copy of that, just so that we can kind of look at that side by side and see what we're talking about?
So I know you guys have been waiting a long time, just, and I've been the chair of the subcommittee. I want to apologize for how long it's taken, but, you know, I want to commit to you that we're, as a board, as a commission, we're going to do everything we can to start addressing things.
I appreciate it. Thank
And
you.
you submitted your marketing plan, right? Your marketing and management
Yes.
plan already? Did you,
This was in our public meeting event.
Yes.
I gave you, you should
did that,
have.
yes, I'm gonna look back at my notes, but just as a
Okay.
refresher, did that also include your financial statement, like your financial projections?
Yes.
It included a 5-year financial plan? Okay.
So sir, the gentlemen who are, thank you so much for being here. And I'm glad that we're having this discussion, because if we're moving towards, trying to negotiate, that business plan has to be really up to date, and I'm glad to know that, and you know, it also needs to include all your employees and what they're gonna be doing. You can't just give a number, you gotta, you know what they say, show me what you got, show me that you can run it. I need to know, their resume, I need to know their names, I need to know what they're gonna be doing, and I need to know how you're paying them. And I need to know in your business plan that you can sustain. We can't move forward if you can't show sustainability, okay? So please make sure that when we sit at the table, you gotta know that you can move forward, and that, there's no hiccups that, you know, all of a sudden. So please, help us help you.
So,
Got it.
to
Thank you.
that point, I specifically will also be looking at any revenue activities, like what kind of specific revenue activities, if you're gonna have an annual race, or those type of things. That needs to be included in the plan, in addition to the projection of revenue and expenses, so we know that the plan is sustainable and that you can't be released. Okay?
So October 9th are,
At one
October
PM.
9th, at 1
suggested
p.m.
1 p.m.
We'll, as soon as we publish, we'll share, the publication with everybody. If you have any additional information you would like to provide us or update, please email it to us so we can package it, prior to the meeting. And so-
May I also recommend, sir, that, that we, in that plan, you need to be able to show us, that sustainability plan, that you need to show us your purpose, your vision, show us your mission. Also, the description of course, the property come from us, and what sort of programs, just like Commissioner Respicio was saying, what kind of programs are you looking at moving forward? And who are your key stakeholders and organizations? That's really important to your sustainability plan, and I'll be looking for that. Who are your key stakeholders and and other organizations? So we gotta look at what is the resident market. That's one of your sustainability plan. Your second one would be your tourist market, and then your military market. You can't do without all three. So having said that, there are typical financial performances of other raceway tracks and what they do. And of course, it's like apples and oranges, right? We can't figure out what does it look like in Hawaii versus Guam, but it certainly has a flavor that's similar, that's typical of financial performance when it deals with such a business. So I will be looking for that in your sustainability plan and moving forward. And what sort of a demand analysis are we looking at in reference to what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your opportunities, what are your threats? Because this will guide us in trying to make a decision. It's called the SWOT. And anybody who's been in marketing approaches will know that the SWOT helps us move forward. And so you have to come up with a competitive position, and you've got to be able to market, position your channels. And so who is your key target marketing channels? Those sort of things, and your promotional opportunities. I think Commissioner Respicio is talking heavy on that area. And then we need to get an idea of how you perceive your timeline for your marketing plan. And tell us, who are your key retail opportunities within that properties? I'm sorry for saying a lot, but if you want me to write that in black and white, I'll have to come back and resend it to you.
It's okay, I'll go back on this live stream, anything that I missed. But we covered quite a bit of that in the business plan.
I looked at your plan and I saw some potholes, I'm sorry to tell you.
There is, but we'll make sure that it's ready to go.
And I'm sure during the work session, there will be opportunities for us to share our thoughts on it, so, yeah.
So if you have any updates, please provide them before the work session so we can review it.
They'll be covered.
Thank you.
Do
Your
we-
point of contact will be Commissioner Rojas. He says his assignment is with commercial leases.
All right, so we see each other on the 9th?
Yes,
1 p.m.
so do we need a motion to?
To accept the work session date and time, please.
Yeah. So I'll motion to accept the work session date of time of October 9th, 2025 at 1 p.m.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, we go for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The vote passes, so October 8th,
October 9th.
October 9 at 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
What time?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. And where will it be?
Zoom in here.
It'll be here. You'll be able to attend by Zoom as well.
You get to see my ugly face on TV again.
Thanks. All right.
Thank you,
guys,
guys.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Chairperson Garrido, I'd like to, I have a request.
Mr.
I have-
Chairman, I hate to interrupt, but I'm very emotional right now because you really saw my need for accommodating me, for not being able to be there in person because my medical
medical condition doesn't allow me to. And I told the governor I would stay on as long as God makes me. And I want to tell you, I really want to thank you for accommodating me.
It's the right thing to do.
Thank you for your service, Commissioner Cameron.
Excuse me? Please, just hold on because we still have a lot.
Yeah. So in relation to that, Chairperson Garrido, I'd like to, in the interest of time, move up item under new business B to be heard now, subsequently followed by whoever's in our audience until we reach our time limit of 3 p.m.
We have a time limit.
Or- Well,
It's our target.
yeah, it's our target. So can we please move up item new business B?
Okay, we'll move up new business item B into the top slot.
Thank you.
Designation of PIO officer.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, in our previous meeting, the board did appoint Commissioner Cameron as the PIO for specific bills to represent CLTC. We would like to bring that back to the table so that the board can designate a PIO for other items that should arise or tasks that should arise in the future.
So would it just be?
Mr. Cruz, I believe you're probably, you know how they say there's too many hands in the soup and it spoils the broth. So I guess one of the things we might want to do, and at least for my sanity, right? That maybe we could recommend that the PIO has limited duties as to, for example, receiving and provides CLTC responses to all inquiries except for constituent matters. That's your job, Mr. Cruz.
We were also gonna request to define their
And I don't,
duties.
attending public hearings and meetings that affect our CLTC. And I would take the lead from our chairman of those meetings. Understand that I represent the board, I am not by myself, and I take my lead from my chairman, okay?
Understood. We do know, Mr. Chair, that you did mention that in your opening statement. So I guess this is to clarify what the PIO duties and responsibilities will be. Because we don't want to overreach or to, inadvertently start forwarding the PIO all the constituent matters, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, which really was very true. One of the senators called in and was asking for the personal phone numbers of the commissioners. And of course, these were our personal phones. We don't give out our personal phones, but they were like calling the office, asking the office to call us, because they wanted to give our numbers to other people. And we know of one senator who tried to do that, and that was clarified recently. So yeah, I think if, we don't want a hot potato jumping around. So if there's a hot potato trying to jump, maybe put it to the hands of the chair to call me in and say, hey, listen, this is our PIO stuff that I want you to do for us. And then, I take the lead from our chairman. If you don't mind, I prefer it that way, as opposed to being, being rogue and out there doing all kinds of stuff without the chairman or the commissioners.
So I'd like to make a motion to continue the appointment of Commissioner Cameron as our Public Information Officer and to take direct directive from our chairperson, Commissioner Garrido.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on that?
But just wanted to bring up, to include the exception of constituent matters, right?
Anything that's directed by Commissioner Garrido, if there's a specific constituent matter, I think our chairperson believes that Commissioner Cameron needs to be involved, then, Commissioner Cameron, I'm sure you'll
Well,
abide by
I
that
authorized
directive.
him my phone number, so he can call me.
Yeah. So any and all matters as directed by our
Right.
chairperson.
Or coordinated with. the
Yes,
chair.
coordinated with our chairperson, as directed and coordinated by our chairperson. Do I need to restate my motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion on the matter?
Thank you, Commissioner Cameron, for your acceptance of this position as Public Information Officer.
Let's take a vote on it. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Congratulations, Commissioner Cameron.
Congratulations, Commissioner Cameron.
Then we'll move on to.
I am your dutiful servant.
Yeah. Then I'd like to move on to any matters that are, in which we have any representatives in order that it appears on our agenda. I'm not sure who they are, but I know Acting Director does.
Ms. Angela Sanchez.
So we'll start with Ms. Angela, okay?
Yes.
Ms. Angela Sanchez, are you here? Ms. Angela Santos, I believe her request is just for a authorization for a building permit. Ms. Santos and the land agent supervisor will go over, but I believe she provided the necessary documents to move forward, even if she's not present today.
I make a motion to accept her request, Ms. Angela Santos' request for a building permit based on the attached building plans certified by an engineer.
Do I get a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
The only discussion that I do have is based on the photos here, I see a lot of debris. So I just want to point out that, that I guess also for the, how do you say, safety of herself and her neighbors, that all of our properties, even all private properties, should always be free and clear of any debris that can be lifted up, you know, during high winds, you know, given how our weather is. Because even sometimes my plants get lifted up and get shifted around, so we wanna make sure that everybody, including her family, is safe. So that's my only concern is when I look at these photos, is we need to address that.
So what our staff did, we went out and did a site inspection and after conducting our site inspection, we sent her a notice to remediate with our findings. Like you said, there were loose debris and what have you in the property, and part of the terms is to make sure, like you just mentioned, that all those things are removed on the premises. Any junk cars or any sort shall be removed and in compliance. And also, part of our compliance also is to build a new home there. Those are all it's part of the remediation.
Now we vote.
Are we still on, I'm sorry,
We're still in discussion,
Are we
we
still
can,
on Angela N.C. Santos's motion?
Yes.
we're in the discussion.
Oh.
Any more concerns?
No.
There being no additional discussion, we take it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to the motion, the motion passes.
So the next constituent matter is Jolene Alamandres.
Is she
The
present?
president, maybe, yeah, the husband and wife here. It's for both husband and wife.
Okay.
It's for constituent matters 2 and 3. Ms. Jolene and Mr. Miller are present.
Would you state your name?
Oh,
Yeah.
my name is Jolene Almontes.
And your husband?
I'm Mark Almontes.
Mark? here
please.
today, actually, so, first with, let's start with, Ms. Julian, Almandrez. She's requesting to terminate her residential lease located at lot 20, block 4, track 9210. Application dated time of, Ms. Almandrez is, December 2nd, 1995 at 8:48 a.m. Application number 57, one of the early applicant, and she applied for residential. So in summary, moving straight forward, she's requesting to terminate her lease for lot 20, block 4, track 9210. Jigo, which she no longer desires, she wants to terminate that lease. And suggested action is to terminate the lease for lot 20, block 4, track 9210 Jigo, and conclude that we'll make sure that all real property taxes are paid, and also the lease fee payment that are also has to,
That she will pay
that
it.
she has to pay, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion on Jolene Marie Almandrez's request. My motion is based on the information we just now got from the staff report, that Ms. Jolene Mar Almandrez has held her lease, if I hear it correctly, since January 1997?
97, January 3rd, yeah.
Okay,
January 3rd, yeah.
today we are discussing this motion, that her request to terminate this lease. So I would like to make a motion to terminate the residential lease of Ms. Jolene Mar Almandrez on lots 20, correct me if I'm wrong, is that lot 4?
Yes.
Block 4?
Yes, lot 4,
Track
lot 20,
9210.
block 4, track 9210.
Okay, additionally, Mr. Chairman, the motion that all fees, including lease fees and real property taxes, should cease as of today, September 18, 2025. But please note that in this motion, the motion does not waive any past fees that have been accrued. That's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
I second the motion.
Discussion?
Do we have a right to have discussion?
I think that it needs to be, clarified that this board does not have any authority to waive property taxes. So I have repeatedly requested the staff to remove any request with regard to any other agencies to bring before the board. I don't ever wanna see this again. I don't ever wanna see you put us, the commissioners, in a position to say no. And this is not the proper forum, this is not the right venue. I think I've repeatedly asked you if there's any request from any constituents that has nothing, that we do not have the power, we do not have the power, I will repeat that, to waive any taxes. Do not bring it to this board. Please direct them elsewhere. So first I wanna let you know, I know that's your request, it's not that we don't wanna do it, we just don't have the power, ma'am.
So who has the
That's revenue.
Yeah.
Not
Secondly,
Not ours.
we do not have the power to release any previous rent payments. Once you sign that lease, you are responsible. It's like any other lease that you sign, any other residential or commercial lease for anyone. Again, I've repeatedly asked the staff, do not put the board in a position where we have to say no to a constituent, because the fact of the matter, I'm sorry, ma'am, we just don't have the power to release you from these payments.
Okay, had I
So-
known who to go to, I would direct
So
it
you
to that
please,
agency, but
speak
I
to
was told to bring it to
director.
the board.
Yeah, please
That's what I
speak to
was
the
told.
director, because we
I
don't
did
have the
speak to
power.
That's wrong. That's wrong. You need to go to revenue and tax if you owe taxes. We're clearly not revenue tax. I'm not trying to be callous with you.
Yeah, I
But
just,
Commissioner Rojas is, Commissioner Respicio is correct.
I'm sorry, it breaks my heart. I
No,
feel,
no, no, I
I
agree,
feel
and-
bad,
and I'll
and it's
follow
embarrassing,
the
it's
protocol,
embarrassing
but
for
that's
us
who I was told
to have to
bring
say
it
no
the
to our
board.
people. We don't want to,
I get it. Okay, what
so
about
please
the,
understand.
I do understand if I
Okay.
was just informed appropriately, then I would follow the guidance, which I did actually.
We apologize if the
Sincerely.
commission was not clear, the commission office was not clear on that.
Okay.
My apologies.
I will get the information from you and then I'll act accordingly. I'm sorry, with regards to the lease though, because since I'm terminating the lease, it's not gonna be 99 years. I still have to pay the $99?
You, shouldn't it be retro? Do you
Yes.
guys have a
Just for the
prorated?
number of years you've
Yeah.
occupied the property.
Okay, and I just, for the record, I just wanna also indicate that which I wrote here, that I did not get a copy, nor did my husband get a copy of the lease, so we didn't even know what the lease terms were until we got our notice when we met with Mr. Cruz back in May of what the terms were. So I did not know what the terms were that we had to pay.
So what you're saying is, Ms. Rogers, is that we go way back on the lease of 1997?
Right.
But were you aware that you're under lease? Were you aware
We
that?
signed a document, but
Okay.
we were never given a copy of what we were signing, because it was at an event that we
Yeah.
had up
So I
in
think it's a
Law.
twofold responsibility for the lessee and the lessor to follow up, right? So it's a twofold responsibility.
Which I did. There was a $50 fee that we had to pay back in,
Okay.
I was asking my husband, which we did, but after that, it went cold.
Do we have any record of her following up with regard to her lease?
We can verify, but
Okay,
I'm gonna assume that when you signed your lease and you got it notarized, a copy was given. I don't know if it was, but we can verify, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
as Commissioner Respicio had mentioned, it's two-folded, but we can verify.
Okay, so you will just look into the amount of lease that is due based on,
It would just be to the
Prorated.
time it was executed, to the time the board had decided if they're gonna terminate
so
it.
your office will just contact us?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That was it. I was just
Thank you,
wondering.
Ms. Okay, so, I think I already made my motion and there was some discussions in it. And I think, Ms. Jolene, are you aware of my motion? You understand my motion?
Can you kindly repeat it? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Oh, to terminate? Is that your
So
motion?
I was saying earlier that based on the information of the staff report, Ms. Jolene,
Yes,
you've held the lease since 1997 and you clarified that with me, right?
correct.
So today we're discussing your request to terminate this lease. And so what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to make a motion. And the motion that I'm making right now is to terminate the residential lease for you, Ms. Jolie. I believe that's lot number 20, I can't memorize everything. Lot 4, can somebody help me?
Lot 20, Block 4, Tract 9210, Phase 1.
Yes, and additional to the motion I'm making, Ms. Jolie, is that all fees, and this is something that I put in, just to make sure, that all fees, including lease fees and real property taxes, are to cease as of today's decision to terminate, which is September 18, 2025. So you're not gonna be paying more than that beyond today. But nonetheless, please note that this motion does not waive any past fees that have been approved. And I think that's our last discussion. That's my motion, ma'am.
I second that motion.
I'm just waiting, okay?
Any further discussion on this matter? If there no discussion, we go for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition, the motion passes. Ms. Amandres?
If I may, Mr. Chair, Ms. Jolene just clarified she would also like to terminate her application. In addition to her lease. So just to provide a little information, Ms. Jolene was brought to the office because she has a lease of a cloud. Based on her having a lease of a cloud, we have CLTCs required to go out and conduct a compliance inspection. Because Ms. Jolene was not in compliance, she was given a notice to remediate letter, which also entailed a notice to voluntarily terminate her lease. However, Ms. Jolene just made mention to me now that in addition to terminating her lease, she would also like to terminate her application. If she didn't terminate her application, when we reach her date and time, we would process her for a new lease of her. But given that she's made mention she would like to terminate her application, I ask the board to consider that in the motion too.
Are we
So
allowed to do that? It's not in the agenda.
My motion, ma'am, to include that,
Because it speaks to Ms.
that
Jolene.
you're wanting to terminate your application and the lease. Is that right?
Yes, I was asked that several times by the staff, and I made the decision yesterday. I communicated with the office staff that I would like to terminate my application.
Okay, so that's amended, that's amending my motion, I guess we all need a second.
Well, actually, we already voted in the first motion. So
We can make
you
another
wanna
motion, right?
revoke your motion and re-motion?
Oh, okay, so maybe I need to re-clarify what she's, the newest thing she's requesting on that motion to be
Make another
included?
motion.
Would it,
Just
I
make
think it'd be
another
more
motion.
efficient for us to make another motion,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know if you wanted to- Yeah, we're gonna vote separately.
Just so we.
So I just, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to, allow Ms. Jolene Almandres to terminate her application.
I second that motion.
any discussion on termination of the application? If none, we go for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Cameron?
Yes, it looks like, we have a similar situation with Mark Mendiola Amandres.
Tell them we're still voting.
We're still in voting, so we need your
Oh,
vote.
okay. So is there a question for me?
Yeah, are you gonna vote?
Oh, yes, yes, I approve.
Okay, since there are no objections to the vote, and it's unanimous, we go forward and the motion is approved.
Okay, moving forward, again, this one, in reference to Mr. Mark Mendiola, address, he would also like to request to terminate his lease located on lot 7, block 22, tract 9210, phase 1 Jigo. And just as mentioned earlier, he would also like to terminate his application.
I make a motion to terminate the lease and application for Mr. Mark Almandres on Lot 7, Block 22, Tract 9210, Phase 1 Jigo.
A motion on the floor, we have a second. Any discussions on this issue? If there are no discussions, we move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner
Commissioner
Cameron?
Cameron?
Sorry.
All opposed say nay. Since there are no opposition to the motion passes. Before you leave, Mrs. Amandres, and I guess Mr.
Did we terminate
Amandres
the
also,
application as
Yes,
well?
yes,
Uh,
I said both.
just a little advice on your tax issues. Ask Revenue and Tax about an offer of compromise. Okay, that may help you alleviate your tax burden,
Okay,
okay?
Thank you for your time.
I appreciate the
Thank
time.
you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
City, by definition, will be the tax
Excuse me, before we go on, let's take a 5-minute break. Meeting is called back to order. The time is 3:22 PM, September 18. The next item for discussion is Daniel C. Lujan.
I know I scratched it.
Sign both your names.
Are we on? Okay, so based on the land agent staff report from Mr. Daniel C. Lujan, the matter before us is the request to cancel the application and lease agreement, is that correct? Okay, I make a motion to cancel the application and lease agreement for Daniel C. Lujan.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the matter? If there are no discussions, we move to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, but on how you make your motion, can you please make it the agriculture residential application and then what kind of lease type it is?
Okay, so based on the land agent staff report, if that information is not clear, I'm not, I
We
can
have
do,
There's two
Where is
different
it?
ones.
There's one for residential and one for ag.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
but this is the matter is just cancellation of application and lease agreement.
Yeah, so that's the
Okay.
agriculture.
Okay,
Right here, the application.
okay, and then,
And then the other one is just a residential
okay,
application.
and where is that? Where is that?
Updated package. No, it's not, she doesn't have that.
I don't even know.
Not even.
So there's agriculture and residential?
Application, and then there's a
The
agriculture.
residential, just the application to
Yes.
cancel.
But just to back up a little bit, so we're canceling
Both. He has
an agricultural lease
agricultural lease, he
And
would like.
application,
and a
and
residential
appli-
application.
He wants to cancel his agricultural lease and application for his
Okay.
agricultural lease.
yes.
Okay.
First, and second, he wants to cancel his residential application.
Okay,
Okay.
that's clear now.
Okay.
All right.
So, Mr. Chair, I guess revoke my initial, motion. I would like to restate my motion for Daniel C. Lujan to cancel his application and lease for the agricultural portion, for his agricultural lease, and cancel his residential application.
A second.
There being a second, any discussion on the matter? If there are no discussion, we go in for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to the motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, so my next question is, the property tax.
We'll refer you to Revenue Tax. We'll give you the information to contact someone at Revenue Tax to discuss that matter.
Okay, well, me and, Ms. Joanna talked about it, and, she told me that,
Well, just previously, the board had already discussed the waiver of taxes.
okay,
Unfortunately, the board does not have that authority to waive taxes. So what we'll do is we'll communicate with you, provide you a contact number and an individual you can speak to at the real property tax at Revenue
I
Tax.
already speak to property tax, and they told me to come to CHamoru Land Trust and find out what's the problem. I'm supposed to be paying from 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. I never received no property tax.
Okay.
Joanna, she told me that I need to pay for that. I said, I'm sorry, I never received that.
What I can do for you is I'll communicate with Revenue Tax.
Okay.
And we'll figure it out, and then we'll call you and we'll meet you and we'll discuss the matter.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Mr.
Thank you.
Lujan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Amelia Nicholas Palacios, who is deceased, but we have the husband here to take place. Mr. Palacios?
Mr. Chair, before we proceed, I would just like to inform you that Commissioner Cameron had signed off.
Okay.
So that,
Yeah.
so just to give you a little context or history, today present for Ms. Emilia is Mr. Antonio Palacios, which is her ex-husband and,
Widow husband.
or her widowed husband, and then her son, Mr. Anthony S.N. Palacios.
So this is before us Amelia S.N. Palacios?
Who is deceased.
She's deceased.
Okay,
She's the one.
so she's deceased. So before us is Mr. Anthony S.N. Palacios? Okay,
He's Antonio, and her son is Anthony.
so is Anthony present?
So the son is disputing his father.
Yeah. So is the son here?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
son is there.
Anthony's
Okay.
here.
So this is Anthony, okay, and this is Antonio, okay,
And then I'm Lilian Palacios, I'm just here to support.
to assist your father, okay.
Yes.
Before we start this, I'd like to recognize every one of you. This is my second time facing the board. But since my age is going up and there's a lot of problem on the land that I asked, because that place where I raise and plant is a town. Nobody's staying there. I was staying in my sister's residential area and I raised pig. But the neighbors are, they're very good. They're friendly. And for the respective of that, I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'll go to the land management and check what's available that I can live in. So,
What my dad wants to just mention is he does,
no,
we have the
put
land,
it back, they won't prove.
they have documents, so he
No,
has,
they don't.
do you have the
Every
documents?
time I went into the government, they don't have any papers. I'm the one supporting them.
So,
Okay.
That's why one of the leaders said, tell me, they got a letter here.
It-
By city. So I guess the question is, the bottom line is, who owns this land right now in your record?
so this is
So
the issue
that's-
about why Miss Emilia Palacios was brought to the board. So, prior to, the execution of a memorandum of lease, Miss Emilia Palacios was awarded a lease for this specific property. Fast forward, Miss Emilia and Mr. Palacios obtained a loan from Guam Housing. At that point, a memorandum of lease was executed, which names Mr. Antonio Palacios and Miss Emilia Palacios. However, Miss
So
Emilia,
it's a memorandum of lease?
correct,
Okay, so that added Mr. Palacios to the lease? To
Correct.
the lease of the land?
correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And then also what transpired is Miss Emilia had named her son Anthony as her successor.
okay,
However, after we discussed this matter with Attorney Miller, we were informed that Mr. Antonio Palacios has clear rights to the lease property because of the memorandum of lease. Mr. Anthony Palacios feels, as per what he's had informed us, that he should also have some kind of rights to the lease because his mom had named him. Unfortunately, our attorney doesn't believe so. That's why he had informed us that the rights of the lease is with Mr. Antonio Palacios. So today, that's what we're here for. But Mr. Antonio Palacios had made mention to me that he would like to respect the wishes of his wife and is willing to give his son half of the property.
Hang on,
But we can't divide it, we
One-
can't divide the property.
And the other part I forgot to mention, Director, congratulations on your president, is, the thing is what my dad was mentioning is in 1982, he was given a property. So with that property, Miss Amelia Palacios did not exist. That property was actually, they were divorced at that time. So at that time, you're right, they were divorced for some point. So he was given a property in 82 by himself. Then this board gave my stepmother, Miss Amelia Palacios, property later, because he was had that land with my mom at that time, or in the 82. So then later on, at the property, they want to give a property to Miss Amelia Palacios. But the property really had only been with my father this whole time. So to me, the property has always been with Mr. Antonio R. Palacios, and that was since 1982.
So this is the same
that's why
lot?
I'm asking
It
why
is.
the lot, when did the lot name change? Because when land trust started giving out property after the 95, which my brother had applied then, he was already provided land. My father already cut the land and provided and gave him, my stepmother, signed and gave property to my brother Anthony Sinfos Palacios.
So to speaking to what she just said in regards to dividing the property, a map was shown to us, but it's more like a scheme. Because that map wasn't legal or it's not
Right,
legal,
and
it
it's
doesn't
not,
have
and
the
it's
proper
not,
approval.
it's not filed with DLM.
Correct, so it's just a scheme.
Right,
And it does look, depict like a map, but in
Yeah.
terms of its validity.
it's a survey, but it wasn't filed,
Correct,
so therefore it's actually not,
it's a scheme.
yeah,
It's
it's
a survey
not,
sketch, not a,
it's a survey sketch,
It's
it's
a
not, if
sketch.
it's
It's
not.
not the 1982 document that says the
Okay,
land is.
wait, we're
belongs
we're trying to go chronologically,
Here.
so,
Yes, and it's true, Mr. Palacios had showed us papers that he was put there based on a USDA or
The farmers.
the Farmers Association to
Right.
teach the kids how to raise pigs. Fast forward though, speaking to what we're discussing today in terms of what CLTC has issued. Initially, again, the initial lease was given to Miss Emily Palacios. I cannot speak to why they did not account for what Mr. Palacios had
but the
done.
property was already being used by Mr. Palacios, so it's the same lot, is that correct? Okay,
Then a memorandum of lease was executed because Mr. and Mrs. Palacios.
so at the time that it was given to Miss Emilia Palacios, was there any record in Department of Land Management that allowed Mr. Palacios to use that property transpired by USDA?
I don't know.
So you have to check that, because if there is no record, then
Further down, ma'am, I'm
then
sorry.
the property belongs to.
Further down, the property was further down, he pushed it out.
Oh, let's move this over, they wanna
So,
see,
Mr. Palacios also has his own application,
Okay,
and I believe.
but that's not what we're entertaining.
Correct, but
Okay.
speaking to why it wasn't considered, I guess, after reviewing, and if I remember correctly, at that time, Mr. Palacios didn't qualify for the program.
Okay,
That's why I believe that it was given to Mrs. Palacios.
but he was already given another lot by USDA, and it was in the same lot.
no, the same lot.
Yes or no?
It's the same.
Okay, so if if he was given a lot by the USDA and it wasn't filed with DLM, then it's not recognized, it cannot be recognized. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ma'am,
So,
On record, excuse me, that the
Yes.
LEP, in the very beginning, it was, under the LEP where he was residing, land use permit.
okay,
And the land use permit was, on record, on file, shows Rosa. So that's where he was occupying. Moving forward, to get a lease, you have to qualify under chapter 75, which, so
which is CLTC.
the COCCT. And so what happened, looking back at the records and the file, Mr. Palacios didn't qualify, so we couldn't give him a lease. So what happened was Emilia took over, got the lease, took over. That's why Yes, he was occupying, but you have to qualify for the program.
Right, in order to be the legal assignee.
Right, so that's what happened there. That's why the wife at that time got
Yeah.
the lease. Yes, he was occupying, but
And then
to move
subsequently, he was added to the lease. And
when they went in to did a
So,
memorandum of lease. yeah.
my next question is, with regard to any CLTC property, the lessee, do they have the authority to assign their lease? I think from prior cases, we said no. Do they have the authority? So if I'm a beneficiary, right, do I have the authority to say, just assign it to my son right away? Didn't we just have a case that we said no?
The
You
two
know,
cases.
They
we
can
just-
name a successor.
Yes, so,
Yeah.
Successor.
yeah.
Okay, they can name a successor, so that is allowable.
Yes, so the successors, more than one. So, yes, it's allowable if you have a lease. You
Okay,
could,
name a successor.
like Ms.
And he
Amelia
was,
did,
Yeah, and that's just in the event of their
Right.
passage,
of
right?
her
so
passage,
she opted to name her son
okay.
But
as a successor.
So I have a question for Commissioner Rojas, pardon me. In terms of land transfer, from what I'm aware is, because two people own the property, right? They're tenants in common. So when one dies, even if they assign it to the next person, do they automatically become 50-50 tenants in common? Or does the first person, or does the second person own it? That is a title question.
It depends on, well, I mean, usually the deed will have the type of vesting, so if it's tenants in common,
Yeah,
then the, each tenant's heirs would get
their share,
their share. But if they were joint tenants with rights of survivorship, the remaining tenant would get
right,
the decedent's portion.
okay.
So I don't know that that was,
but I don't think it applies
I
to
think,
leases.
yeah, because that one's just a fee simple.
Yes.
well, actually,
But,
you can do it with leaseholds, but I don't know
but this
that
is
the
on the
government
lease.
does it, yeah.
No, I think
Yeah.
it applies to
It's-
leasehold as well, but you know where we're
Yeah.
going, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
It seems that this is a matter of legal lineage. So I don't think, just to expedite things, I don't think we can make a decision on this matter yet. I think that we need to consult a title professional with regard to when two people own the property. I don't, see, it doesn't say here on the lease, like you said.
There's no vesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Commissioner, it doesn't say if they're,
But that's a memorandum of lease, though. I mean, what does the original lease say?
yeah, so where's the
The
original lease?
original lease was only Miss Emilia.
Okay, but,
I have a question though.
Yeah.
When Mr. Palacios was deemed, not eligible, what was the basis of that?
Qualifications based on the program
you see
eligibility.
what I'm saying?
Right, and at that time, he was told that he did not have Guam Chamorro
Would
lineage,
that just be a
is my
professional,
understanding.
He wasn't.
And that's not
Attorney.
correct. So if
Because like
he
when we
is
have issues,
eligible,
they come to it.
then the land should have been under him, because at that
Yeah,
point, then
agreed.
you just gave the land, a land that's already occupied,
Oh,
he
that's right,
does
I'm sorry,
qualify
you're,
for.
you're a title
So
company.
I'm not too sure how the
You're right. Okay,
eligibility
so what is, maybe we
review
can,
was done,
maybe
but
we
based on the
can
notes
take
that was
this
received.
back to
You
the
can see
title
what Attorney
issue.
Miller.
Yeah,
Because-
Okay, so I
Commissioners,
make-
if you want, we can seek written legal guidance from our
Attorney,
Yes.
attorney
Yes,
Yes.
to provide better context.
I make a motion, that we take this case with Amelia S.N. Palacios. We need, legal guidance with regard to rights of land ownership or title ownership with regard to the lease. This is really a title issue. And we need to follow the title laws.
Could
I have that,
he has a title to the property, that's what I was talking to them while y'all were talking, is that the property has title. In fact, he has a home he built on it. So then,
So there's an issue, there's, the way of ownership, we don't know if there were joint tenants, tenants
Or
in common.
survivorship, I
We don't know, because I don't have the lease in front of me. And in order to make a proper decision, I think we should get the legal guidance of, our attorney so that we can determine what was the original ownership between Mr. and Mrs. Palacios. Was it tenancy in common, joint tenancy? We don't know.
but this land, when it was given though, could you also look into how is it that he was given the land? And if I heard correctly here, are you saying that when he got the land from our government in 1982, that is not that is not, legal.
I'm not
because
saying
he's
that it's
past
not
that.
legal, but if it's not recorded, title-wise, in terms of who owns the property, if it's not recorded, then it's not recognized.
It is
So-
recorded, ma'am.
So
And
this is,
that's
so
where
this
we
is
need
what
to
I,
look at
we
it.
need to refer to the attorney, because I don't have those documents, and we wanna really understand the rights of title.
And we can.
Did the
Rights of
government issue a
ownership.
deed? Did they issue a lease? I mean,
So going back in, back in 1982, when government was issuing, back as a land use permit, it was only for, at least for 1-year term,
Okay.
on a year-to-year basis.
oh, okay.
So every year you have to pay an X amount, the average I've seen is like $43 a
Yeah.
year. And if you don't opt to renew it,
Then it just vanishes.
it vanishes. You have to be consistent every year, go and pay your due, and then.
What was the name of that
renew.
program?
Land use permit.
Okay,
And then what happened when 1995, when we started issuing leases for those who are still occupying,
right.
they were able to, fall into the program and
So it was a transition
The
from the
transition, yes.
LUP
Yeah.
to.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
But providing that you qualify under the act. Now,
Right,
but that's a
under
different program.
Yeah, okay,
So there's no fee simple title in the LUP, it's still government of Guam,
right.
property. It's just only for, at least for a term, 1 year.
Okay, so short-term lease.
Short-term lease.
So is that land use, LUP you're referencing, the former name Orange program? Is that what it was there?
So that itself is legal,
Same.
but after the property was then leased to Mrs. Palacios, she becomes the new owner, and the LUP no longer has rights.
So then may I add to that, though, the decision to give it to Ms. Palacios, they did not give it to Mr. Antonio R. Palacios
Right.
because they incorrectly identified him as not eligible. He also has his application. So that's the part here that I would like for you all to look at and consider, because
Can you take a look there, Director Cruz?
if you're saying.
Look for his application. Do you have his original application?
We
Yes,
we have a file
Okay.
for it, that's why we
Okay.
made mention.
And I pay $50 and
So he has it.
and the additional $10 again.
So that's where if he was already occupying it and you were gonna transfer him from the Orentu into the land trust, then you just, did an injustice to Mr. Antonio Palacios because you kind of just overlaid Ms.
But it could have also been, it wasn't his turn to receive a lease.
They
you know
have
what I
the
mean?
obligation at the same time now.
To transition to an LUP to a lease
Yeah.
for Chamorro Land Trust, you have to qualify under chapter 75.
That's what I'm saying.
Is there a
Okay.
record as to why he wouldn't have qualified at the time?
In his file, there is.
Okay.
But what it is they were saying that he's of not Guam descent, and he is. He is
And
of
that's
Guam,
the
his
reason
mom is
why-
from Guam, and then his grandmother is also from Guam.
That's the reason why I check, on the senior, where they're protecting us,
Yeah,
that
At the
when I
time.
show them about that, they just want my mother's name to be corrected, and whether my mother's is born in Guam, I'm eligible. Just because I was born in Saipan, but my mother and my father are husband and wife, I got everything director, one of the directors here. Make sure nobody touch your paper, you got everything, I talked to the director over here, the land management, because I'm always paid to be a member with them. And Dr. Paul Hansen is the one in the University of Guam, and Paul Hansen is the doctor. They want me to work with them, and they told me that I'm qualified. But I said no, because I'm still working. But the land that you're using is arrendo. We can use you because you show us your ability to follow Governor Budalu about farming. So that's how I come and say, I'm not gonna build a $70,000 house. And you just, anytime you guys come in and you just test me out, say no way, because you're both rich. See? So I was paying for that farmer's home administration.
Right.
So that's the part, if the decision does go outside of Mr. Palacios, there is mortgage that remains on the concrete house that is on the net being in question. And so what I would like to ask this for is that my father is fully compensated for the value of that home, because he's the one who's been paying the mortgage all this time. He's the one who's paying the mortgage. And so loans are on the right of survivorship. My mother passed, and so then my father owns the loan with regards to Guam Housing
I don't
Corporation.
think that the question before us is whether or not he owns the property. I think the question before us is whether or not Mr. Anthony Palacios is the acquiring successor. Is that correct? So there is no dispute that he owns the property. We're not disputing that whatsoever. That's not in dispute. What I see here is the matter is with regard to acquiring succession to the mother's portion. So this case needs to go before an attorney so that he can provide us title guidance.
So then what then is going to be the portion for Mr.
So
Antonio
we will get that information from the attorney. He will be the one to tell us, because right now, the information and all the documents need to be scrutinized by him. It's a legal matter.
Right, okay.
Yeah, this is a legal matter. So I make a motion that the matter before us with regard to acquiring succession from Amelia Palacios to her son Anthony Palacios be referred to our attorney for title research and for his guidance with regard to title ownership
Can I
Is that
and
what you
succession.
just said?
Can I just,
What, can we please finish our motion? Do you second
I'll
that?
second the motion.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
the question there, we're divorced already.
Okay,
He lived for 15 years. The reason why is her name is there when I was building this main house. See? When we are building this main house with my own money, because they were gone
yeah,
when they were little. And I was paying child support that time. Then they never picked me up. Then I went back to my lawyer. If they're not having it, so never mind, stop paying the child support, because they left the island and she's married in the States. And that's the time she came back.
yeah,
And when she came back, she was supposed to what's this, like cure her mother, because, I'm sorry when I'm talking because my ears thing, I can hardly hear you guys, so I'm sorry, I forgot about that. And she told me they will be back together, but I was with her mother that time, when I was, she came back. And those money, that's how I built, and that's her name over there when we built the house. See, but the land is from 1972, and I found out, look at this. The old mistake of the surveyor, why they have to undo that when I paid the land management that time, I paid them,
But then we will look at your property.
yeah.
You
The
know,
place-
I'm
sorry.
I go
The
back
pl-
to the thing. When I noticed as very nice, that's why we left so long. And we asked him to come down to the
No, I
house.
was offered the place.
Yes, thank you.
I was offered the place. Every,
Offer the place.
yes, you and her, every time we go someplace, or the, Iguma si Antonio, Iguma si Antonio.
Can you tell everywhere they'll find
No.
you?
If we could
Request.
just hold on.
Another thing,
Hold on.
I'm sorry, sir,
Yeah,
I'm
let's,
sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
If
One
we
at
could
a
just
time.
finish
That's a real thing.
the
Yeah.
voting of the
That's
board and.
Let's finish the
and
voting. I
allow
think I
us
have a
to-
motion
to
on the
do our
floor.
research and-
Chairman?
Yes. Well,
Chairman, I think I have a
where the
motion on the
house
floor.
or the property is at is not where he built down there where he was doing.
He's farming.
His farming area. The piggery area is here,
Sure,
the property is over here.
If you ask me anything, I got it here.
But we will, I think
Mom,
that you
Pa.
need to just
I'm sorry,
review
but-
all the data.
Yeah.
That's a will issue. The
Yeah.
issue right now,
Yeah,
we're
there's
just talking
nothing,
about is
yeah,
the
we can't
land.
deal with
Yeah.
that here right now.
Right.
So
Right.
the
The
land,
land.
right, it
Yes.
is just the
My
land.
mom,
What's your mom?
That,
My mom.
dad's land, dad is
Signed it
still
off.
alive. Dad is
yes,
still
my mom
alive,
signed it off.
dad is still
Yours-
alive.
The only
They
thing
just
they don't
found
say
out.
to say my name. And that is why
Go to order, Chairman, so
two
we can
times,
proceed.
this is the second time I faced the board. But now because my son just passed away 4 days.
My
See,
condolences.
another son died, and my wife, the anniversary is coming on October 6th. We found this problem like, see, it really hurts, and why now I'm all shaking? Because I'm putting everything in my heart just to see that my wife get well. What I asked him when they put my wife in the hospital, when I asked in front of my wife that is dying, I said, Cocina un guardia, can you watch this tonight? Because I'm the only one from morning until 4 or 5 o'clock. He said, oh, tsagsago. Itsaga sa anon marita, manaingpi, mausa para ufan may gua. Tahotsa niya fabidan niya gigilatsu, manapapasyo kata dia. Aga so faisin ni todui yogi kami, hanzu, manozum fanaitin di is. What I'm saying,
It's just what they're saying. He's
Yeah.
lived there for 50 years. Please look into
Yeah.
the property,
Yeah,
that,
there's no dispute, he's an owner of the property. The question is Mr. Palacios' continuing rights. That's the question before the board right now.
Okay.
So that's what our attorney is gonna
So
look
then
into. So he owns
he
the property,
owns the
yes, because
property.
he's on the lease, correct?
yeah,
Yeah, so that's not a,
Memorandum of use.
yeah, he's not, that's not a question. So the question is with regard to the son's, subsequent acquiring of the
As a
property, yes,
successor,
so,
whether it's the-
yes, yes, so
because-
that needs to be
and he
cleared up
said
with the,
earlier, Mr. Attorney Miller
Yes.
said no, that it will, Antonio Palacios will.
We'll get it on paper and in
Yes.
writing,
yes.
just so
He
that
said
it supports.
Attorney Miller
Yeah.
already said
Yeah.
that it's up to the husband, Mr.
Yes.
Antonio Palacios.
We'll just get it documented and provide the board in writing
Okay.
what he had.
Then we can make a decision
Yeah.
based on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Thank you guys for your time.
and hearing the case. And then we'll get together and give you guys copies of the documentation to, make sure.
Whatever you feel that we should.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give it to the
Do you see
director.
that, Mr. Palacios?
Not right now, just we'll give it to him later. Alright?
I'm sorry when I speak, it's because my hearing.
No worries, sir.
No worries.
No worries,
And
we're,
like I
we
said,
understand.
With all my problem now, I'm still holding my heart.
What time is it?
Thank you.
3:57.
That's 3 minutes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You want to adjourn and we can,
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Is
Mr.
there- is there
Commissioner,
any- is
I
there
need to.
anything important in there?
Right. Can I?
there is a couple, but if the timing, we can put them on the next agenda.
Again, I'm sorry, my hearing and my voice, but when things like this, that's, I will show you a letter
Can you
from
hear
one
one
of the
Okay.
board.
I think we'll-
I report,
Oh, yeah, no,
it is,
here one more.
We could recess.
We
and
need
pick
to,
up
we
like a
need
week
to,
from today.
vote. We didn't vote on my
Yeah, I
motion.
can give another 15 minutes, but, yeah.
We'll make it, we'll try to make it.
Okay, restate your motion and we'll
Okay.
put the vote.
So my motion,
Just to restate.
to restate my motion, is that the matter with regard to the acquiring succession of Miss Amelia S.N. Palacios agricultural lease be presented to our Attorney Miller for his clarification and guidance.
Okay, and that
I
was
second.
second, right?
Yes, I second the
Okay,
motion.
so we go for a vote now. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, nay. It passes.
Okay.
The motion is approved.
Next item.
The next item, is Mr. Pedro P. Blas. However, we can,
Is that the most important? What is the most important? I'm sorry, everything's important, but we have one more, we have chance for one more.
this is the realignment of his property.
Okay.
But we can put Mr. Pedro Blas and Pedro Blas Jr. together, because
Okay.
they're adjacent to each other.
Oh, okay. Now I know why the face is familiar.
So their request, Mr. Pedro Blas's request, will assist his son, Mr. Pedro Blas Jr.'s ability to comply with the building code.
Okay,
Mr. Pedro Blas Jr., if you can see in the picture here, has built an extension that has encroached into his father's leased property, which would
are there,
also.
both of those properties
This
are
is
leased?
dad's property, father, and this is Junior right here, half acre.
Okay,
So
I'd like to also point out that
The
I'm
POA.
working on,
the POA for his dad, Mr. Patrick Blas has POA for his father, Pedro Blas.
Okay.
oh, okay. And
So we're-
this is Patrick Blas,
Right, and
And-
my brother Pedro.
Pedro, okay, okay.
So, in a nutshell, Mr. Pedro Blas, the father, is willing and has submitted documentation that, he is willing to, I guess, reconfigure his lot, which would not decrease or increase. And Mr. Pedro Blas Jr. also is willing to reconfigure his lot, which will not increase or decrease in size, to come into compliance with the building code laws.
So the solution is not to get a setback approval, it's to reconfigure the lot so they can come into compliance.
Because the setback he won't even, because it
So-
encroaches.
Okay, so, based on, I guess, the lot size that is allowable under the leases, would that affect legally the lot size allowable under the
It'll
leases?
maintain the same size.
Okay, so I make a motion,
It's just a matter of moving the boundaries.
Can we just show the proposed?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And the Blasses will absorb the fees and expenses for the
Okay.
survey.
So actually, if we want to, the reconfiguration actually gets shifted down this side so that it hits compliance with the setback at this corner, it's gonna shift this way.
okay, and so then what, for Pedro Blas, what portion will he receive?
This is still,
He's gonna get a
he
portion
still has
of
his
the,
portion, but this one, he's gonna own this one here. This will be his
turn into a
portion.
flag
Oh, so
lot.
they're making
It'll be
it
like a flag,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
You?
okay. And Mr. Blas is okay with that? Mr.
Right,
Blas
he's
is okay
submitted
with that, okay. The only thing is, with regard to the left side portion, we need to make sure that it's, how do you say, large
Meets the
enough? Yeah, that it's able to be used as an easement or for some kind of purpose and not make that portion deemed unusable.
It'll
Do
be
you
part
still-
of Pedro Bron's senior slot.
Yes, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, I
But
guess what she's
it
saying
wouldn't-
is it gonna be wide enough for it to be used as an
Because
access
it's-
road?
It wouldn't be an access road because he has, the main access is from this road right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can use that for his additional crops or plantation there, to be in compliance. It'll be part of the property, but not a flag lot,
Okay,
because he already has the frontage.
yeah.
Well, you see right there to the left, I guess, what I'm trying to get at is whenever we move lines, we always wanna make sure that the remaining lines or the new lines will deem both properties still usable. You know, I mean, because it doesn't make sense to have like 5 foot or 10 foot, then what are you gonna do?
It's
Absolutely
odd,
nothing.
but you can use
It
it for
can be
for
odd,
farming purposes.
yes, but it has to be, usable.
Eventually,
I mean?
the map will run through the
So
plan.
how much portion
Oh,
is
okay.
that he's,
Probably about approximately 20 feet, they're gonna
Okay.
shift.
Oh, that's, yeah,
Okay.
that's plenty.
Yeah.
okay,
Definitely their maps will run through the review process of the event.
okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Can you make a motion?
you guys have a proposed,
We do have
Yeah.
proposed key, but it's not
Okay.
there right now.
Just have your surveyor contact us and.
Oh, you want it? Okay, here, this is how it's gonna look like.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
The green lines.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can see the green
Here,
lines.
That's.
Okay.
Okay,
Again,
so I'll make a motion to, approve the request to relinquish a portion of Mr. Pedro Blas Senior's property to allow Mr. Pedro Blas Junior to comply with his lease terms.
And also to revert the lease from agriculture to residential.
In regards to that one there, to revert back from agriculture to residential, on the public law that 30 Senate 131, what it is a clouded lease. It doesn't, because what it is you have to, what you have already set, if it's already agriculture, has to remain, just get into compliance.
Okay,
It doesn't say that you can revert it back on a lease stage.
So there's no need to address that then?
Just for your decision, it's up to you guys to make, the board to decide on that. But the clouded lease is whatever you have on lease will remain, just have to be in compliance with your lease.
so I don't understand, so if it's a clouded lease, if you're gonna make a change, wouldn't it still be a clouded lease?
Yeah,
So what difference is it gonna make?
So the clouded lease law today that we're following is to address the actions contrary to law that was already executed. However, the clouded lease law today doesn't allow or doesn't provide the lessee to revert back.
Okay, so then why are you putting that on the request?
It was a request of the constituent.
So you need
so-
to tell them if the law doesn't allow for that, then no, you can't do it, don't bring that
But just
request.
for the sake of discussion today, in our previous board meetings, we did bring about that because of the actions of CLTC allowing lessees such as Mr. Blas himself to build a home prior to complying with his lease term, he won't come into compliance with an agriculture lease term. Because his house sits on, as it shows there,
Right,
he would have to farm 2/3, he won't come into compliance. So we did make mention before that considerations may have to be considered by the board. Because if he maintains as an agriculture lessee today, when we go out there to do a compliance inspection on Mr. Blas's leased property, he will still be in non-compliance because he cannot farm 2/3.
So,
so then, but
So-
if we revert it back to residential, it's still gonna be non-compliant? Is that what you're saying?
No, because he has a home on it.
so what
you
would
don't
be,
need to farm in residential.
is it, do you want from, I mean, is that something the board can do?
What are you asking from the
Yeah, or
board?
the-
Because,
When we spoke to Mr. Blas, we did make mention to him that he would have to appear before the board to make that request.
okay,
Administratively, we cannot do that, because we're gonna end up the way what we're dealing with today. But however, we did make mention that this is what the clouded lease law entails. Now, it's to address his lease today that has a legal cloud. If you'd like, you can table item 2, we can seek the legal guidance from Attorney Miller. If he finds something legally that may be possible, then so be it.
Yeah, I mean, it states here the commission shall not allow the application type to revert to residential according to the law, right? So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna do anything that's in conflict with the law at this point. But we can bring it up with Attorney Miller to see if there's something that needs.
No, so that's my whole point, is if we shall not allow the application to revert because of law, okay, so then, period. Why are we gonna spend money, or why are we gonna ask attorney, he's not gonna change the law he doesn't have the power to change the law. What is the purpose of asking Attorney Miller if we already know that we are not allowed to change the application type?
That's correct.
I don't wanna, so, you know what I mean, I want every decision that we move forward, we need to play within the rule book. You know, this is the problem, you know, also to Commissioner Cameron's statement earlier in the meeting. Is there so many things, we are paying the sins of the prior boards. And we want to help future boards so that when they're entertaining requests, it doesn't have anything to do with our period. Do you understand what I'm saying? We need to be consistent. So that's my question. So the first thing, I think we should entertain Commissioner Rojas's motion, right, is to allow him to reconfigure the lots so that he could be in compliance
With the building.
with the building
Building
code,
code, right.
right? Because there's two separate issues. So I second his motion. If we can at least move on that issue.
Okay, any other further discussion on it?
This is only with regard to legal setback.
Right.
That's what we're discussing. That's only what we're discussing right now. Do you have a,
Not regarding
Okay.
that, the
Okay.
set,
So if he-
I'm okay with that, I just had, some things to say about as far as the reverting back to.
okay, so that's, yeah, we're not talking about that, okay.
Okay, so there being no discussions on the matter, would we go for a vote? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so then the second request before us is to revert the lease from agriculture to residential. What do you, staff report, please? What is the,
That's what I wanted to speak about, it's okay, but you want to?
okay,
So, when I first got the lease, it was residential.
okay,
And then I was told by the CLTC that I had to change it to agriculture. And then, my understanding when I came back to these guys, when all these things were going on, was that, I can go back to, if you're residential initially, you can go, I mean, yeah, if you go from residential to agriculture, you can go back to residential, but if you're agricultural, you can't go back.
you can go to
Yeah, but, that was my understanding, so, again, like what they said, even if they were to leave it agriculture, I won't be able to meet the requirements, because of the way my house and my lease.
So it
and
is-
everything
So
is-
you're Pedro Blas Junior, you're the one with the house,
Yeah.
you're the, okay, okay. So his property is now agricultural,
Correct.
okay.
So he
So
wanted to
now we're in
correct
a
the set-
pickle because we want to revert it back to residential, and you're saying we can't because?
The law doesn't.
Doesn't allow it.
Okay, so the law doesn't allow it, okay, so then what's the next step to help Mr. Blas?
So, kind of backing up, if his property can't be, if it can't be used for agricultural purposes, how did the lease get changed?
And like he mentioned, he said he was guided
By CLTC.
by previous.
This is after I got when I got the lease, it was a
We're paying the sins
residential.
of the prior board and the
Yeah,
prior
back then, we're
members.
allowing switch,
Yeah.
application type from residential to ag or ag to residential.
Okay.
I was actually-
We inherited this given.
I was actually told by CLTC that I had to change it from residential to,
It was
that's how I
okay back
did it,
then.
or that's the
If
reason
we
why I
left
did
it
it.
residential, we won't be here today.
Yeah.
But he was advised to move to
Yeah.
agriculture.
Yeah, from
For what,
CLTC.
I'm just kinda curious, for what purpose, or did they tell you why?
I don't remember, they just said something with the way everything was working, that I had to
So
follow the
sometimes-
requirements.
Not speaking to his case, but sometimes the switch from residential to agriculture was to circumvent the priority status. Because if you're a property owner, you're priority two. And then also, because of the size of the property, some people may desire, right? If you're a residential applicant, the law does allow for up to 1 acre, but of course, we're gonna recommend only half. We don't see why you need one, so some people want more than one or more than two, so in order to get that, they switched.
So I think that we need to have a blanket, kind of, remedy for everyone that's in this situation. You know, because, it's no fault of his own, right? You know, Mr. Blas, he did exactly what CLTC advised him to do. But now that we're in 2025, in order to put him into compliance, I mean, he can't, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a pickle.
If the board can consider, I think the most, not easiest, but the legal way is to amend the current law that speaks to clouded leases. Because really, there's nothing in the act or any statute that has been enacted recently that allows for lessees today to either switch back or to revert
So
back.
how were they able to switch before if there's no law?
They just allowed it administratively.
Oh, administratively, but it wasn't legal.
It's not legal.
Is that something that you feel would be?
Was it not legal at the time that the decision
Correct.
administratively was made?
Yeah.
It wasn't even legal for the director to administratively issue approved leases.
Okay.
There was a lot of, actions contrary to law that was taken. So to clear all the ambiguity and any second guessing, the amendment to the clouded lease law should be considered to allow for those lessees such as Mr. Ross's situation, who did everything and who CLTC allowed to build a house prior to farming in order to come into compliance with our lease terms without changing our lease terms in terms of farming 2/3 of your property and all that other great stuff, is to give them the opportunity, or anybody in this situation, to revert back to the original lease.
Is that something we should put in a future board meeting so we can have a work session to?
Yes, yes.
I just found
Determine how
out
we can-
something, just now for one of my staff here, that, Mr. Blas's original lease was a residential lease.
Yes.
And, that was, and then what happened, when they gave him another lease, which is an ag, the residential lease was never terminated. Because
Okay.
it's never terminated,
It's still
it's still stands.
Okay.
So there may be a solution to that.
But
terminate
this
the
for his
agricultural lease.
specific case.
Terminate the agricultural lease and have to maintain the
Residential.
residential lease, if that could remain possible.
That's,
Could we have Attorney Miller look at that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we can-
look at that suggestion, because it sounds like he has two leases concurrently running.
Right.
Just that, right?
but if this,
Did he
but if the
decline it?
residential lease was never
Did
terminated,
he decline?
perhaps that's gonna supersede it, It's something that.
Yeah, because
Attorney
that's the
Miller will
initial lease, that's the
determine.
initial
Yeah.
lease. So we would just have to refer to the attorney. Please understand that what we're trying to do is, there's a lot of these type of cases that are coming before the board, but we want to solve it for everyone, not just case, like we do something for this place and then another case is a different decision.
And
Every
director-
case has to have the same,
Understand, and I agree.
so that we can streamline everything. So the next time this comes up, and I'm sure it will, we already,
You have a plan.
yeah, we already know what the legal way,
I agree.
the legal direction is.
So we just learned that, the residential lease was declined by Mr. Ross. So, we'll bring it up still to Attorney Miller to get his clarification.
Okay,
But how we're conducting our process now, our lease award process is, for example, Mr. Blas had applied, Mr. Blas has a lease such as that in his file. We review, and if Mr. Blas had declined that lease, we're gonna treat it as an application. If Mr. Blas didn't decline it, then we're gonna treat it as a lease of a cloud because it's missing the, the approval of the board, right? The ratification. But nonetheless, we will present everything to the attorney so he has all the information so that he can make a sound legal decision.
Yeah, maybe we'll just have him look at it so we can see how we can
See if
fix
there's a
it.
way.
Yeah,
But nonetheless, even not for Mr. Blas, but for everybody that's still
Right.
pending, there's some considerations for amendments to the current statute need to be considered. Because we're dealing, I mean, just today, or even this meeting, you see all the issues we're
Yeah.
dealing with. We deal with this on a daily, and
We set precedents, and follow
Yes.
that.
yeah, right.
so we'll prepare the authorization, the survey authorization based on the board's decision to reconfigure the property.
Concern, where does that leave me then if, you're saying that you're gonna have the attorneys take a look at it and everything? So when they came out to do the compliance inspection, I was issued this, notice to remediate, the agricultural release rate, and it has, it marks up what, like here it says, I shall cultivate this property within 1 year, and so forth, but that I have to cultivate at least 2/3 of the property and stuff. There's in 1 year about paying rent, but mine is a lease, I paid the $99. So my question is, in the meantime, while they're trying to figure that out, they're giving me a timeline here to come into,
1 year.
Compliance.
compliance.
We'll
What is
also
that?
include that in this, in
Yeah.
our discussions with our attorney. Given what the law states, we're given 1 year, you're given 1 year. Outside of that, we can't determine that, but we will include that question in our inquiry.
Yeah, because that's
with the attorney.
important to me, because in the meantime, they're trying to figure stuff out, and it's saying here, this is, dated March 18, 2025, and they're saying 1 year, so 1 year lapses, and for whatever reason, they don't get around to checking into that, then they might come back and say, oh, you didn't come into compliance.
So
we're
remember
gonna
this
take it back.
date, remember this date and ask for the board minutes for this date.
It's on record.
Yeah,
It's
everything's on, what you're saying is on
record.
record,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Just-
So you have it on record.
Just out of curiosity, where's your septic tank and leaching field there? in
It's
the-
on the
That
left,
light,
right
that
there.
light,
Septic tank
that
is
one
right
right
here.
there,
So it's not-
that one right there,
Yeah.
the light, box, that right there.
That's the tank.
And then the leaching field's on the left there.
Right.
So even if they
So
did it, I
the
wouldn't
lot
be able to.
adjustment will not interfere.
Say again?
The lot adjustment will not
No.
interfere.
The surveyor
Yeah.
will do the as-built, because I'm pretty sure he has to as-built the survey.
Based on the location, it's leaching field, it will meet
Yes.
the, but an as-built will be done, has to be done.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So did we already, vote on that motion for attorney minutes?
For tournament to review.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to make a motion
We
for
voted
this?
on it already? Okay,
This,
okay, this is
the
just,
motion will support our inquiry.
So you need a motion.
Please.
Yeah.
no, I made the motion.
Sabrine made the motion, you
Yes.
seconded.
Oh, yeah,
We
okay, okay.
voted on it.
Okay,
Right,
so we're
okay,
just
so
in
we're good.
discussion, okay.
That-
Thank you for your time, and we'll see what we can,
Thank you.
there will be a resolution, we just don't know what it is, and be assured that the kind of decision we'll make will be consistent with every case, such as yours.
You need to mention motion pass. Motion pass.
Yeah, I haven't,
Yeah. so-
I haven't said that part, because we're still in discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just wanted, make one more thing clear, because I don't know if, I asked, I don't remember if I asked Joey, but in this, letter of the notice to remediate, and the very back, it says here, they marked up stuff that I needed to come into compliance with, and one of them was, Alessia's outstanding lease rent payments.
So based on
So-
our
Oh,
review
sorry,
of your
agricultural
file, like I told you, if we go back, when we go back to review our audit financial books and it shows that you paid $99, then we'll inform you that you've
Then
already.
you would have.
Then I don't have to worry about this, if you guys marked about me owing rent or anything, because I feel like I do, because it's a lease listing.
Well, when we send you a letter that you paid your 99, then you don't have to.
Yeah.
If you find receipts that you feel that you may have not submitted to us, please submit it.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, I have actually the receipt that I paid the 99.
Because what could happen is you went and paid, but you didn't bring back the receipt. So we would never know if you paid or not.
Right, because you paid a treasurer of grant.
Yeah.
It's on his lease,
I'm sorry?
it's on his lease, rate to be determined at a later date.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
And then that's another issue.
But that's a half
We have a
acre.
lot of agriculture
No, I
leases
know, but that's what
that
he's
exceed
talking
half
about.
acre,
Yeah.
that reads rate to be determined at a later date.
So that's what you're talking about.
It's, yeah, somehow, or for some reason,
So do you
that's
know how to
indicated in my
determine the rate?
lease.
So, based on the categorization of what is awarded, anything over half acre is considered for commercial use. But if we go down the act, you read further down, it says what needs to be done, you get to appraisals and all that other great stuff. But again, as Commissioner Rojas had mentioned, we can have a working session to discuss the amendments that are needed so that it
Yeah.
becomes more,
Yeah.
makes it more efficient and effective, our process. Because there's quite a few that have that verbiage.
Okay.
But in the meantime, if we determine or we find and we, to through our review that you pay $99, we'll inform you.
But what about like, so Jessica just, mentioned, so not only is it indicated here in this, notice to remediate the lease, but it's also actually indicated, on my lease?
We're gonna, we'll bring that also up with our attorney, because you're not the only constituent that has that, but
Okay, just
but we'll
noting
keep
that
you
it's
informed
involved.
of what's going on.
Thank you.
So that's
Thank you
it?
guys for coming in.
Yes, thank you for your time, thank you.
You know what?
Any further discussion?
So we
If there
have
are
two, we
no,
just have two
if there are
more?
no more discussions, the motion is approved.
Okay.
I mean, if we can, yeah, I mean, if they're here, let's just take care of it.
Yeah, they're both
I'll
here.
be a little late, but I'm good.
Right. Mr. Munoz?
Just, get right to it, okay? I'm super late.
I'll
I'm
ask-
getting Mr.
Oh, sorry.
Commissioner here. Go ahead.
Okay, I have Mr. Richard Munoz here, he's the POA for his son, and the matter is, addendum to residential lease agreement and consideration for those in the armed forces. So in regards to addendum, in summary, moving forward, Mr. Munoz was issued a residential lease with an incorrect lot description. He has a residential lease since 2017 for lot 15, block 15, tract 11405, Dedito. His father recently inquired about tax assessment for Ryan, noting that it does not line with the lease agreement. The residential lease by the land management specifies lot 15, block 15, tract 11405, Dedito, within approximate 2,225 square meters. Mr. Richard Munoz is requesting the lease agreement to be corrected to reflect the proper lot description in line with Department of Revenue and Taxation to read tract 11405, block 13, lot 15, Dedito. Mr. Munoz also wishes the consideration of his son's active military status, which currently prevents him from being in island and undertaking construction.
Okay, so let's first address the first portion.
So in the first portion, the lease that was issued to his, the son, Ryan, it was a mistake on Tomorrowland Trust giving the wrong lot description.
Okay, so which lot is the mistake? Where are you at in your current?
The mistake was
Or in their
15 was
summary?
the mistake, right?
block 15, block 15, tract 11405.
That's the mistake.
That's a mistake.
Okay.
So when he went to Revenue and Tax to do his, check on his tax assessment, it was different, so, compared to the survey map, and it should have been, the corrected one should be
Lot 15.
Lot 13.
Lot 13, block 15, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna amend his lease to recognize,
No, I think it's,
at block 13, lot 15.
That's the correct.
Yeah.
So
Tract 11405, block 13, lot 15.
it's correct.
The correct one.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is
That's what's
correct.
stated in the tax assessment.
Okay, but is what's stated at DLM?
Yeah.
I mean, on the map?
No, not, on the map, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it reflects,
that's
so-
what's important, the
Yeah.
DLM map.
yeah, it reflects
Okay.
from the map.
so the lease references the wrong property.
Correct.
Wrong
Okay.
lot number.
So all we're gonna do is,
Correct the lease.
yeah, correct the lease, right?
Yeah. Secondly, Mr.
Let's tackle that first. I make a motion to correct the lease, reading from lot 13, block 15, tract 11405 to lot 15, block 15, tract 11405.
Hmm?
Block
That's-
13, lot
That's
15.
Yeah.
You gotta switch it around.
Oh,
So we're gonna change it from lot 15.
Correct from lot 15, block 15, tract 1105 to lot 13, block 15, tract 1105.
11405, yeah.
Oh, 11405.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I second the motion.
11405.
Yeah. I second that motion.
Okay. Discussions before we vote? If there are no discussions, we go for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, nay. There is no opposition to the motion. The motion passes.
We'll prepare that.
So Mr. Richard Munoz concerned as a POA for his son. His son was issued a lease, and what had happened was we went and did a lot inspection, and only to find out that the, there's no building, the structure. So we gave him an NTR notice to remediate, and what it is so that he can build. You receive an NTR, right?
No,
Not yet, okay. Well, his concern right now is that the new law, the law that we discussed, that his son has 1 year to comply with his lease terms, and he has to build.
Yeah,
So he can take over from there.
if you don't mind, I was just like,
Yeah.
I just want to introduce myself. My name is Richard Munoz, the father of my son Ryan. I was the original applicant, but I passed it on as I'm under the cloud lease. So I just want to inform you, I'm a disabled veteran. I got a hearing issue. If I speak too loud, please don't be upset. So I just want to let you know that back in 2015, my son joined the armed forces, but during 2012, the application was in process. So it was finalized and signed by our former governor and former administration that it was given 2017, the lease and the map and everything, which I received at the POA at that time. It wasn't at the governor's office, it was here at CLTC, so I received all the documents. And so the problem is now that when he joined armed forces in 2015, and now the new law passed 2024, that was, they got some regulation compliance that the leases must comply with, which is gonna be kind of difficult for my son because he's in active service right now, and he's gonna be staying until retired. He's an officer in the Army, and he doesn't wanna get out, and now there's gonna be a situation between, the problem is that if he was given that 1 year situation after the on-site inspection or whatever, and I was given that document like that one gentleman, I feel that because he's in the active force, it's gonna be hard for the individual soldiers that's in the armed forces prior to be given the land and the lease them to comply with it. So I understand if you're a reservist or National Guard, you're on island, you can comply with so many things because you live here, but if you're under Uncle Sam, they tell you where to go and how to go, who to go. So that's why I'm just speaking on behalf of my son, that if there's a way you just can amend the law for those that are active armed forces, that there's two things they can do. Either he comes out before retirement and then he can comply with the regulation under CLTC, that was the law passed. Or if he's paid after his term, 20 years, then when he retires, he can comply with all that. That's my request, because I'm speaking for all armed forces, not just my son. These are only active forces. So if that's why I was kind of, boggling my mind, and I just want to see if the board can look into it. And I know the senators came up with the law. So I know you guys can't change the law, but if we guys can, put your mind together and figure if we can move forward in a way for the soldiers that are in the active service, if they can, give them the opportunity to extend that to their end time of their armed service time or retirement time, to go ahead and comply from that active time after you get out of service.
So, Director Cruz, was there any verbiage in the law that made any assessment for grandfather? For any, so if you say the law was passed in 2024, so all the other leases that are prior to 2024, they did not have to, they weren't under that pressure that, I have to build within a year, right? Is that correct?
There's still the lease terms that were in place.
Okay,
However, like Mr. Munya had mentioned, his son's lease is categorized as a lease of a cloud.
okay,
The law today requires for the remediation to take place and be completed within the year.
so the remediation of all leases with the cloud, that what?
That are in non-compliance with their lease terms, they would
Okay.
have to remediate any non-compliance within the year.
Okay, so has your son built on this property yet? No.
No, we have the map, we have everything, we had the former governor and former administration sign everything, it was recorded. I have all the paper, well, he has it, so, I sent it to him, so I don't have a copy of it, but you guys do. So the only thing is that if the new law, he has to comply under the new law back in 2024, it's gonna be difficult for him as an individual soldier, that, and I know there's other families here in Guam that's probably in my situation. So in the future, if we can come up with something that the board can maybe amend or talk to our senators, and, I mean, I spoke to senators, I spoke to a congressman, I'm trying to get some,
I
you
think
know,
the reason-
information, just
yeah.
to see if I can work with,
Can
just
you
so
give
when
us
I
some
present.
background as to why that law was passed in 2024? Because I know that that law was developed most likely at the request of the board to resolve issues. So, you know, we asked them to do something, they do it, then now we're coming back and say, oh no, that's not exactly what we want. So can you give us some
So-
background?
So what had occurred is that at that time, even till today or a couple months ago, CLTC had issued 2,911 leases. Out of that 2,911 leases, only 19 were compliant with the date and time first come, first served issuance. So that law was created to address every action that was contrary to law that led up to a lease award, which is switching application date and time, switching application types, processing a lease prior to their date and time, the transfer of application rights by living applicant, everything that was contrary, that we've identified, that was contrary to law, to prevent the termination of all those leases. That's why that law was created. Today, the law provides us with an avenue to address those leases with a cloud by ensuring that they comply with their lease terms within a year if they're in non-compliance. When they do come into compliance, or we do experience or run into a lease that's already in compliance, we're gonna apply the eligibility beneficiary criteria to make sure they qualify for the program. Then we'll present it to the board for lease approval, and when the new lease is executed, the new lease will be only for the remainder amount of years of the original lease. So if you had it for 10, your new lease will be for 89. So that's why that law was, that bill was suggested to address the leases.
What are the standards for complying on a residential lease for the building?
So, like we mentioned earlier about the public law and different terms and conditions in a lease term,
Does it need to be a concrete building?
it just has to be built through a building permit issued through DPW. You would have to make that your primary domicile, you would have to occupy within a year after the lease award. But some leases say differently, but I believe Mr. Munoz son says a year after the lease has been awarded. But nonetheless, to come into compliance, they have to construct the home that was authorized through CLTC on the improvements. So that's what would make a lessee.
Can I put a container home on the site?
For as long as you get and just speaking like to Ms. Rojas, I think it was, or whoever the prior constituent.
Ms. Santos, she provided a building plan for a container,
Yeah.
and the building permit, we just approved that.
Just as
So
long
that
as
was
an
for
engineer
container.
still stamps the plans, they will go through DPW and get a
And it's-
permit and.
It just has to meet the international building code.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to speak on that issue. What it is that, once we get that letter for compliancy, thing is that, you know, I got my own home, and my siblings, only got one here, the rest are in my other son's in the armed forces too, my other daughter's in the mainland. So if my son builds a new home there, nobody's gonna be living there, because they can't rent it out, because by law, you can't rent out because it's under the law. So he doesn't wanna build a new structure home that is gonna be vandalized or left behind, which I'm too old to be maintaining that, going over the construction for my son and all that. I got no family members that can stay there, but in reality, he has to be here. By law, he has to be here. So it kind of contradicts a lot with him in the armed forces. So my problem is that he's gonna have to get a contractor, and then once he gets all of that, and actually a certified blueprint, that he has to also present it to the board. They have to approve it after all that, because they gotta make sure before it's built. So it's kind of a process, but my main concern is that since this land became to law, that 1 year thing is gonna make it hard for him, and that's the thing I'm trying to fight, like, please, is there a way that the law could be amended for those that are active armed forces till the time of their deadline of their service time, they can comply with that law, or after their retirement date. You know, because it's hard to say when they're gonna get out the armed forces. And I kinda say, okay, he'll be on 2 years, and if he extends and re-enlists, because his career is better for him, I
Yeah.
mean, that's, make it hard on him.
Do you
Or me.
do you happen to know who has oversight for military in the legislature?
I don't know.
Because that might be a route you would need to take, is to get a deferment for active military.
Yeah, it's
Because
totally a congressman.
you're, or a congressman.
I don't
Like,
know,
if-
I'm
if-
sorry.
If it can be done locally, it would be faster than going to the Congress. Now, if you can get a deferment like the National Guard gets from being at the workplace when they're called on duty,
See,
that's what is needed, some sort of deferment.
like, you need something that he's actually in the armed forces or something? Is that what
Because,
you're saying?
because it's a unique case, because he applied when he was not in the armed forces.
Right,
And
right.
before he got the lease, he decided to join.
No, he joined before it was given to him, 2 years after, because we don't know.
But he applied, then he joined, and then he got the lease.
Yeah, I gave it to him because back in 2012, sir, what happened was I bought a home and it's residential. I applied since 1995, December 12th, I know that date at the time. I applied and I was the original applicant. So when I bought my home in 2006, you know, I came here because I was back and forth with CLTC then, before all this became law. And the former administration guided me that, hey, since your son is under your blood and family, you can pass it to your son, or whoever you like in the sibling that's under you. So they guidedly, actually physically told me where to go, so that's when I passed it to my son, which he signed it with me back in 2012. And then that's when everything started going well, until all this media about all this thing, whatever. That's when all these things started popping up about all this former applicants giving their members, instead of going to the next applicant on the list, instead they gave it to their family member, and then that's not, by law, you can't do that. But that wasn't, you know, as a local, I don't know what CLTC's requirement regulation, so I'm just trusting my government agency to guide me the legal way, what to do. But now I'm in this situation that he's in the armed forces, regardless if he applied in 2012, and he joined the armed forces in 2015, and then it was finalized in 2017, which was the POA back then. So this is the thing, it's just like a domino effect, or it's just kind of hard for me to come up with an understanding how we can, you know, make this some kind of solution that we can come up with for those that are active service only. Because those that are National Guard Reserve, they're on island, they're under a government, governor or federal, whatever, orders. But those that are actually active is under a president, you know. It's hard to say, you know, hey, I'm gonna go take leave, or I'll be back in 2 years because I need to get compliance with my law to government. So that's the thing, I'm just trying to understand myself.
Understand your concern, but I guess, you know, it's not something that we as a commission could address, but
Right.
I think legislatively, you know, they could change statute to possibly consider that. Maybe we could put him in contact with the chair of.
And we'll also take note so that when we do schedule a work session for certain amendments, we'll ensure to bring it up.
That's the only thing is asking if they could amend something that, because, you know, there's always gonna be a clause for something new to come in, because there's something that they just never thought of outside.
But I think it's what's noteworthy to note is he did say he applied, and then when he was waiting for the land, he joined the armed forces.
Yeah,
And then
when
he
I
got the
passed it on,
land,
yeah,
yeah, then he
yeah.
got the land subsequently, so.
Yeah, we
when he
expected
made-
that
yeah, When he
early, yeah.
made the decision to join the armed forces, that was a career decision. So at that time, knowing that he's gonna be in the armed forces, of course, he's gonna be traveling, you know, like you said, he's at the direction of, you know, the president, right? So at that time, because he made that decision, I'm gonna be quite frank with you, sir, he should have given up his right for the land under CLTC, because he made a career decision that he will not be permanently on Guam. This program is for people and beneficiaries who want to establish themselves permanently on the island. He made a career decision to travel around the world and be at the beck and call of the president. So I don't think that we can even entertain that request here. You can, as the other commissioner said, you know, go seek, change of the law elsewhere. But,
Yeah, I understand.
the request, I mean, I don't know if it's denied or, you know, the consideration, there is no consideration.
See, prior to this, I went to the meeting down and again, it was a former, speaker, I forgot his name, because something, I told him I'm a Desert Storm, Gulf War veteran. I got out and explained to him that this is where my home is, so I applied for the land. But prior to the new law back in 2024, it just kinda like threw everything I dreamed of, because when I passed it to my son, there was no guidance then what we can do and what not to do, what career we can be or not.
Right.
But he chose that because he wants to get a better life, instead of, you know, not knowing that he's gonna get the land immediately. But I understand it's out of your
Yeah,
control.
it's a chance that he, you know, that he takes, so.
Yeah, so
we-
I didn't know what to do, so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out. I'm gonna have to try to speak to our senators to find out, like whoever was on their names that made that law, that if they can come with some kind of amendment, that those are actually the armed forces active duty, not reservists, not part-time soldiers or weekend soldiers, that if they can amend that, they can give them some kind of
Deferment.
like extension till they get out of their term. Then they can be in compliance, because locally, you know, this is our government here versus the federal, and it's hard to control that for my son.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir, thank you for your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So I think we need to
yeah, I
move on
understand.
the agenda.
But,
Thank you so much,
yeah,
Mr. Munoz.
I appreciate it, so.
Okay, thank you for your
Mr.
time.
Chair and Commissioners, if we have time for the last constituent, and then item G. Item G is related to Transworld Radio in Mauricio, that's their lease, commercial lease is expiring,
Yeah.
the property is gonna
I
transfer.
wanna respectfully ask if we move on the agenda, that we limit our time to really what's relevant, that we can vote on. If it's an issue that, you know, we don't have control of, then I don't think we should be addressing it. Okay, so let's move on. Do we
Something
have
we can
time?
vote on, yeah. Wow.
Okay, do we have time for Martina Cruz?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz, we're gonna defer to, the land staff agent to provide his report so we can move swiftly on your case.
Okay, so we have Ms. Martina Cruz, her request, the applicant wants the commission to be aware of her frustration obtaining, survey services. And so to, long story short, Ms. Martina Cruz was awarded residential lease May 8, 2025, this year. And, by the Board of Commissioners. On May 16, 2025, a survey authorization was issued to Ms. Cruz. And we also gave her a list of surveyors to contact, you know, for, what service she may avail. So she went out there and tried to seek, contracts to the surveyors. And this is why she's here today, because she says she's having issues with surveyors, the contract.
So, I don't think that this, matter requires any type of vote or any type of motion. It's just, is that correct? It's just really a discussion?
Correct.
So let's limit the discussion. What I'm gonna tell you as an active real estate broker, the wait for surveyors is real. So by you, ma'am, having to wait May and nobody wants to schedule you, that's a very real problem that everyone faces, not only beneficiaries of the CLTC. So this is, you know, the situation on the island right now. There's a very limited, number of surveyors, number one. What I can suggest to you is, when you contact our surveyor, you know, maybe you can suggest to prepay for his services. So if it's September, you say, okay, Mr. Surveyor, you please tell me approximately what is it gonna cost to survey a parcel of, I'm not done. Then you can prepay it, and then that way he can put you on his list.
I'm not in that, subject you're saying, how to talk to a surveyor on how to pay them.
Yeah.
The problem is the surveyor don't want nothing to do with CLTC.
I'll tell you, ma'am, if you have the funds, they will survey your property. So that's my recommendation to you. We can't control the private sector. We can't control the decisions they make. So, we are, the only thing we can do is suggest to you on how you can get your survey done. And so that is the suggestion, is you go back to every surveyor on that list, and if you're very serious about getting your property surveyed, is you ask them that, you know, or let them know if you are willing to prepay. And so that way they can schedule you, even if your schedule is in December, at least you'll know you'll get your survey in December.
So there was like 3 surveyors that, denied my request
Okay,
because they have a different subject.
yeah, okay.
So am I gonna re-request again another surveyor's list?
What I suggest is you ask them, how much is it gonna cost to survey your property? And you prepay that, and you get on their schedule.
They cannot
gonna let you-
discriminate
Yeah,
and
they
turn
cannot
you down
discriminate.
because of it being a CLTC property.
Because that is what's happening in the residential market right now, is people are prepaying their survey at a estimated cost so they can be scheduled. It's like plumbing services. We don't have enough plumbers on the island, you know, we have to wait 2 months.
I understand what you're trying to tell me here,
Yeah,
but am I going to re-request another list?
no. You can work with,
Go and,
staff.
if the surveyors on the list deny to service you, then you can go, she can go outside the list, correct?
She can only obtain services from a licensed professional.
Yes,
surveyor.
yes.
Yeah.
Provided that
Which
I-
is on our list.
What was
They have to be on our
Dennis,
list.
was
It's
No,
everybody.
licensed.
It's everybody?
Yeah,
Everybody, yeah.
Dennis Belates in that?
I believe so.
But like this
Oh,
is,
he is so backed up. He is so, that's
He's
why
got
I'm
all the
Yeah,
saying.
because he's got a good
Exclusive.
Yeah,
reputation.
you
What we can do is if
prepay and
your
you get
survey
on the schedule, that's
application
the only
is
way you're gonna get
expired,
on the schedule.
We can issue you a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
So please work with, Mr. A, and he'll guide you on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, if we can, item G under new business, Transworld Radio. Mr. Nate here is present from Transworld Radio. The reason why this is on the agenda is, the commercial lease of Transworld will be expiring. We did do a site visit, and based on the lease, the structure will stay. There are other items that the board may want to consider to keep. The barn will stay. These are the pictures from the Transworld Radio. There's antennas that are located, or towers, I mean, that possibly could stay if the commission would like. If not, they'll remove all the towers except for the building, the structure, and the solar panel.
We have a 95 kilowatt solar panel structure, infrastructure.
We did take a tour, I mean, even Chairman Garrido had taken a tour. We would suggest if the board is inclined or may contemplate that they wanna commercially lease that out to another telecommunication type company, that the board considers retaining the towers that are less than 20 years old. The maintenance has been done, I think, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So Mr. Nate is present from Transworld Radio.
Okay, so, Director Cruz, what is the ask?
Would the board like to
So,
keep,
yeah, our concern is the lease requires us to remove
Right.
all of the transmitting equipment. So if you would like to retain the foundations for future development or retain one of the towers, we need something from your agency, from the government saying that. Otherwise, we have to take it down
Sure.
to comply with the lease.
So I see that the lease expires next year,
That's right.
in June. Okay, so we have time. We have time to investigate the matter.
Well, you have time, you
Yes,
don't, right?
yes.
It's gonna take us, 4 to 6 months to tear this equipment down. And so if you delay a significant, we have to tear it down and
Right.
take up the foundations. That's why we're coming to you now,
Right.
so that we can plan. If you want to keep it, we'll, we can plan for that.
so these are the pictures that were taken of the towers. Up, Joe.
How many total towers do you have there inside?
10.
8,
10.
10?
Yeah.
And what is the, uh,
These are
lifetime
the towers
for
right
each
here.
of the 10?
There's 6 smaller towers that I would say we did a lot of repairs, all the gavas were replaced the beginning of this year. We finished that project the beginning of the year. Those 6 towers do not have, I wouldn't say they have an extended lifespan. They're gonna need maintenance. Then there's 4 larger structures of which we're gonna take 2 down, or possibly to ship to Africa. But those structures are good, all the ropes, all the guy ropes were replaced, all the hardware was
So
replaced.
we have 2 to 4 good towers that you're looking at least 10 years of use, maybe more.
With maintenance, those 4 could last.
Right. I
As
don't,
long as
I don't think that you guys would need a need for 4 towers, unless you're
No.
doing a shortwave transmitting. You could probably make use of 1 tower, for something else.
Well-
Some kind of AM station or something like that.
Well, I'll submit to your expertise, because you guys are radio station experts. What would it take for a 911 setup to be implanted into your site?
That's more, like a networking,
But South Tower,
telecommunications.
my recommendation would be leave South Tower up, which is a 67 or 70 meters, so
It's like
200 feet, 220
Would,
foot.
would those towers be of use to anyone or any other kind of company aside from a radio station?
Anything with transmitter, right? So,
So is that something we could be leased to a cellular company in the future?
yeah,
or-
maybe cellular company, yeah, anything like that.
E911.
There's been different interests in the site,
Right.
so.
And not only the towers, they have large foundations underneath them, right? And if you wanted to construct another tower, that would be a cost that you would have to invest in. So if you wanted us to leave the foundations, we would leave those for the towers, so that you could expand in the future. But we would like clarity on that from you, on what you want before we tear
I'd like
everything
to make a
down.
motion. I'd like to make a motion to table this request until the next meeting. That'll give us a better, that'll give us an opportunity for us to work with the community to see if there are any possibilities, for the usefulness of this type of equipment. And we can certainly, we understand that you need time to dismantle.
Yes.
So we will be very expeditious on our response to you. So we need to table this, and we can have our
Can-
acting director, Cruz,
Yeah,
put
but
our feelers out there.
Yeah, also, can you identify for us which towers would have at least a 10-year lifespan left in them?
We can
Yes.
provide that
Yeah,
information
we'll
too.
provide that.
So do we need to make a motion to table?
So-
Well, she made the
So
motion.
you made the motion? I'll second.
Second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any discussions on it?
We'll wait
Okay.
for EKTA or?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It passes unanimous. The motion is passed.
We'll
Thank you, sir.
communicate with Mr. Mason.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to. I'm sorry, it's 5 o'clock. My grandmother is like.
Thank you, have a blessed
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Maybe IPNE or
So
Giacomo?
let's give them an opportunity to
For
put his
each-
feelers out in the community.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't think KUM wants anything to do down there. They have their network already set up. And same way with 100. And
KPRG radio.
mhm. Now, GTA might have interest in it for
Yeah.
a repeater station.
Yeah, I guess we can figure out who
Maybe,
might be.
maybe if you like, you guys can do a site visit.
So, can we move on to the next?
Yeah.
With regard to bill number 182-38, we're running out of time. Director Cruz, is this on the voting agenda? Is this on voting for session for September?
No, so we received a letter from, I believe, Senator
So
Duval.
if it's not on voting, then I'd like to make a motion to table it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'd like to make a motion to adjourn, sir.
Perfect, are we still gonna be able to do some comments?
Not on bill 182-38, no.
Not, just a suggestion about whatever it is.
Public comment?
Public
No.
comments, right? Not at all?
2 minutes, 2 minutes. 2 minutes is the time allotted. But this is in relation to what? This bill?
Well, it's just pretty much.
If it's in relation to this bill, can you
Just pretty
please?
much the action and what you took, right, is you're tabling it.
Yes, so
Right,
can we please, because it's not gonna.
Just a public comment, because then you asked if it's not being voted on yet,
Yeah.
but just to consider that there still has to be a public hearing.
Yes, yes,
So.
yeah.
We were patient to stay here to.
I'm sorry, sir.
Just real quick,
We're really way,
Commissioner.
yes, I understand, but we're also need to be polite and consider our staff. They are also on the clock, you know. These are not volunteers, our staff is not volunteer. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
We'll see you next time.
There you have it, Doctor.
Aye.
You want to submit?
Motion
On the
passes.
next, please.
Just one for staff.
Did you guys receive the letter, did you guys receive the letter from the senator, the bill, the National Guard sent the letter to the senator to defer the bill?
Yes.
Yes, we
You
did.
guys have that? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your,
Are you in favor or opposed?
And the mayor.
are we adjourned or
Oh,
not?
You're Chapacuca. I would say you're Fiesta.
I'm not sure what this
With others, friends?
That's from
You
Casper,
work with me at GTA?
Paris. Yeah.
Yeah, we both retired from GTA.
Sorry, you didn't end the meeting, sir.
Oh, yeah, but-
So you have to end the meeting. You have to end the,
I can't hear you.
you have to end the meeting.
The time is, according to my watch, is 4:59.
For the vote count.
Oh, I thought we both counted.
No, I
On
made a
the
motion to
adjournment?
adjourn and he
Second.
seconded.
We voted.
Okay, yes,
Aye.
I voted also in favor.
okay.
The time? The adjournment.
Now it's 5 p.m.
Next meeting adjourned.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you for
next
understanding.
meeting will be on October 16, 2025 at 1 p.m. CLT Conference Room, Suite 223, ITC Building, Tamuning, Guam, 96931. This meeting is adjourned.
Okay.